in the firelight, living in my head. Sun came in, I'll close the blinds, could feel it in the air. This is just a waste of time, no one really cares. But then you came across my mind, got me out of there. So I went down to the river and swam till the panic was over. Yes, I went down to the river, watched all the heavy waves. I watched all the heavy feeling all the noise in here, it's becoming ache. Pull me into calm and deep, and take me out to the waves. Cause I feel like a waste of space, breathing in the air. But you hold me like I might just break, like you want me there. So I went down to the river and swam till the panic was over. Yes, I went down to the river, watched all the heavy waves. I watched all the heavy
When we look back into the sun, this ethereal light that we left will not burn out. While to where we run, in the time that we had, it was worth it to know that this is not the end. It's just a part of the puzzle, the piece found its way to. This is not the end. It's just a split in the bond where your feet take a new trail.
Gets it to the outside. He can't get there. Kevin King is going to win the Barr FTF Cup Series.
To the lead. Bond gets wrecked in front of the pack. He saves it. 3-4 wide as they come to the white flag.
Here comes Vargas down on the apron. They are 5 wide. Ian Plash will win it at the line. Is this package? Oh, there goes Jordy Lopez Jr. That's your race leader. Caution flag is out.
Still no one willing to give up as they are going to be dead even off of the first chicane.
Oh, he saves it. What's going to happen here? Here comes the canvas.
Get your front gear. He's got it. He's got it. Get there. No.
This is going to win.
Welcome to FTF.GG's coverage of the Slipstream Signs Farewell Fontana 300 at what Justin Malillo calls the Automobile Club of Rancho Cucamonga Speedway at Auto Club. Caleb Hoffman here with Zach Johnson in the trailer, Sean Butler alongside me. Going to be the penultimate race here for the Barr Visuals FTF Cup Series. And Sean, we're going to be in for a fun one tonight.
You said you would use the word penultimate and you didn't waste any time, so thank you for that. But yes, this is definitely going to be an awesome race. Auto Club rarely disappoints, especially in these cars. So many lanes to run, so much fun to be had, not only up here with us, but also in these cars. These guys are going to have an absolute blast. You're going to see guys ripping that safer barrier on the bottom of the racetrack and everywhere in between. So definitely going to be a great time watching this one. And plus, we're going to narrow down our championship 4 for this race. You see your starting lineup making your way across the screen here, but Caleb, this is definitely one of the races that I've had circled on my calendar to pay attention to, and this is definitely going to be a fun one.
Absolutely, and this starting lineup's going to just scroll on by for you. You can see where everybody's going to roll off from here tonight. We only get 1 pace lap because Auto Club's over 2 miles, so just how we roll. You see, should be the rest of the field on this next page here for you. None of your heavy hitters starting really outside the top 20 here. Parker White figures on the pole, coming off back-to-back wins and looking to pick up where he left off here tonight at Auto Club. Blake Reynolds starts alongside him, the front row. Gonna be a fun one, like you said, Sean. Everybody entering the restart zone now. And green flag gonna be out here from Auto Club. Again, that penultimate race of the Barr Visuals FTF Cup Series season.
Twice already. We're not even done with lap 1.
I'm doing it just to annoy Justin.
Wow.
Look at him fanning out, though. Especially here at Auto Club, it's, you kind of come to expect it with these next-gen race cars. Everybody all over the place already.
Look at Dylan Basin in that 04 car going from back in, I think he started in 8th, and he's to the lead through 1 corner. So what a move by the Elliott Sadler Esports number 04 Chevrolet Camaro of Dylan Basin. And this is what I was talking about, Caleb. You see guys all over the places.
Oh,
Malik Ray made contact off of turn 4. That's championship implications there for Blake Reynolds, and that would have been a catastrophic start to the race for the 66.
Absolutely. 4 wide for just a second. Daniel Falkingham going to squeeze through the middle there. They're going to figure it out, but real close call already for Blake Reynolds coming into tonight. Should be, reads as 80 points out, equivalent to about a 33rd place finish for him to advance over Michael Guest, who is not here tonight. There's your points graphic, as Sean was asking for.
Finally. But yes, that is your points situation there. Blake Reynolds just underneath the cut line there. Michael Guest, as you said, not present tonight in this race, as Malik Ray had a little bit of a difficult exit of turn 4 there. But Blake is going to have to put together a fantastic race. He needs to win some stages just to get close. But Guest maybe feeling that he's got this locked up, maybe took a week off. But we'll see. You never know with these things. But everyone's slowly starting to calm down off of turn number 2. So still, we're going to see side-by-side everywhere throughout this race. There you see our leader, Dylan Basin, going into turn 3. But behind him, they are fanning out. Malik Ray dives underneath David Cabrera. Timu Toyka right there in that black car up towards the wall, running the 3rd lane. Drivers are everywhere already.
Absolutely, and seeing a lot of guys go up right against this wall on the straightaway and then fan out once they get to the corners. You see Michael P. Frisch there with Brandon Hawken, both of those playoff drivers. And again, every point's going to matter for them. Stage points in this race, obviously.
Oh, David Cabrera got loose. He was one of the guys we saw at Homestead that was just ripping the wall from the jump, and he is doing the same thing here at Auto Club. And his tires paid for it greatly at Homestead, so we'll see if that's going to be the case here. We saw him just almost get loose and hook Malik Ray off of turn 2, but he's able to save it. But definitely going to be fun to see everyone use that wall to get that short-term advantage. And down the front straightaway, still side-by-side here. Jonathan Oates is going to be side-by-side with Malik heading into turn number 1. And we see Teemu Toika go right up against the wall there.
And we've been so caught up in the back half of the top 10 here. I want to give a quick shout out to Josh Chin, who's moved up into the second position right now. He definitely knows his way around Auto Club. Saw him have lots of success with the Mickey Mouse esports team in FTF1 a little earlier this year. And now in the next gen seems to be translating a lot as he's passed Parker White, Falkingham, and co. and is now trying to run down Dylan Basin for this top spot.
And Josh has been quietly consistent here ever since taking over that 53 from Justin Melillo, the world-famous number 53 car that we're so used to seeing Justin driving. But good to see Josh bringing that car up to the front week in and week out. Definitely very good to see for that. New paint scheme on that car as well ever since Josh took over. And a little bit further back here, I'm looking through Teemu Toika on that 146 car. If we jump a little further back, he was another one of those drivers that was running the top lane for a good chunk of the first 5 laps that have been completed. He's slowly starting to slip back, just lost a spot to Brandon Hawken. You see him sideways on the bottom of 3 and 4. So slip Teemu a little bit further back. And speaking of further back, I'm looking Matthews whacking that 7 car. A lot of strong drivers back here in this group. David Brown 3 wide with Ashton Schleiss and Sander Nyhoff going into 1. So this is what I was expecting to see throughout the race here, Caleb. Just everyone using every lane throughout this thing. But I'm kind of surprised. It looks like they're slowly kind of starting to fall in line, and we might see a long green flag run to start this thing.
And got to keep in mind as well, stages an even 50 split. Going to be into lap 50 for stage 1, into lap 100 for stage 2, and then obviously into lap 150 without any overtime, of course, will get us to the end of stage number 3. So something to keep in mind. Good even distances for each stage, and will kind of give everybody, I think, an idea of what tire conservation is going to look like come later this race.
And speaking of tire conservation, Josh Chin trying a unique line there to maybe get a straighter exit to save that right rear tire. Gets a good run on Dylan Basin on board with Josh right now, as I'm not sure how eager he is to try to take the lead, but he's kind of entering a little higher than everybody else, kind of waiting on it a little bit longer than kind of trying to get that straight exit. So we'll see how that works, but he's definitely using that to get a really good run on our leader, Dylan Basin. Is he going to look to the outside? I think so. He's going to try to get that side draft, and Josh Chin looking to go for the lead as they make their way into 1.
And this side-by-side racing allowing Parker White to kind of re-enter that conversation for the lead here, and maybe he can try something. You see side-by-side Josh Chin, Basin almost make a little bit of contact there. Continuing down the backstretch, still side-by-side going into 3. That outside lane should have that advantage. Look at Dylan Basin. He's going to kind of send it down on the inside. Going to retain side-by-side. I just think that run's going to be too strong off exit here for Chin.
And it looks like he's going to clear him and make the pass. So new leader, 53, Josh Chin to the front. Now, we heard Dylan Basin in his post-race interview last week at Phoenix mention that it's very important in these cars especially to not slide the tires at all in these cars, especially setups that are dependent on having your left rear have a lot of grip, as Zach's computer is doing its normal thing. So we'll get this back going here in a second. But Dylan Basin, all these guys up at the front, masters of keeping the tires on these cars. And a little bit of a further back, little battle here. Brandon Hawken, another championship driver, still has a chance at it. He has to win, though. Must-win situation for Brandon Hawken in that 99 car, that 099. And a couple other drivers there, too. Daniel Falkingham, another one of our championship drivers. So Falkingham in a little bit better shape than Hawken is, but definitely going to be good to see how this thing plays out. As you see Blake Reynolds, another championship driver, way up in the top side in 1 and 2.
And again, that point situation coming into tonight, Parker White, we mentioned at the top of the show, had those back-to-back wins the first 2 races of this round. He's obviously going to Atlanta next week. Daniel Falkingham in a very good position as well, up inside the top 5, looking very good for that 054 thus far. Kevin King as well. He's a little further back right now, P14 for that number 88, but we've seen him ascend through the field multiple times and know he absolutely can get it done. And again, has a good points buffer coming into tonight of about 82 points. And then obviously on the bubble, that battle we're watching with car on screen right now and Blake Reynolds, who's 80 points out, going to need a good run tonight. But again, helps that Michael Guest isn't here so far.
Yeah, definitely. But Guest still might have a chance at it. You know, you never know with this. But pretty much everybody that's on the outside looking in is in a must-win situation. So as we saw at the top of the broadcast, the points graphic, Parker White, of course, he is already locked in with 2 wins in the round of 8. Daniel Falkingham pretty much locked in as well. He's plus 97 over the cut line. Kevin King pretty much is locked in with a plus 82. So it's going to come down to if the 4 guys that are out right now can win. So pretty much Blake Reynolds, Michael Frisch, Brandon Hawken, Wyatt Tinsley, it appears, is not here again. So that'll pretty much take him out of the running for a potential championship. But nonetheless, definitely going to be an interesting thing to see as this race plays out. But new leader Dylan Basin going right by Josh Chin. So we're 14 laps into this run, Caleb, and these guys are, I think the race is just now beginning at the front of the field.
Yeah, and I mean, the max amount of points, approximately that you can get, every week is right around that 200 mark. So it sounds like a lot for these guys, but if they have good runs and just keep their noses clean, they have more of a chance than you might think, as in guys like Brandon Hawken. A win's definitely going to go a long way in that you're not going to have to worry about any of it. But I think if you accrue your stage points, just run up inside the top 5, top 10 all night, and then come home with a good finish, you're going to be in a good spot if you're on the outside looking in, except for Wyatt Tinsley, obviously, but not here tonight, as you mentioned. So won't have to worry about that. Should just be the 3 drivers fighting for that last playoff spot.
You got to be in it to win it, literally, for this, and that definitely applies for that. But look at this battle right back here. Blake Reynolds throwing it underneath Malik Ray into turn 3. Kevin McAdams, we have a caution. Not sure where this is. Looks like that's Rocky Boyd has come to a stop in turn 3, middle of 3 and 4. So that'll bring out our first yellow flag of the night. So solid little run to start this race. Rocky trying to get it back going. We'll get a replay here and we'll see what transpired. Rocky pretty fast in qualifying early on. So we'll see going into turn 3. Rocky on top, it looks like that's Cosmignon Shoe going into turn 3. Do they come together? Maybe a little bit of net code there. That dreaded word, net code. And everyone doing a great job of avoiding him. So it looks like just some tire damage for Rocky Boyd. Everyone else comes through unscathed. And yeah, he just came off the wall there, just hooked himself on Cosman's right front. So nothing much Cosman could do. Rocky doesn't hit anything, just come in, get 4 fresh tires, and head right back out.
Yeah, the patented blimp cam there. And
will tell all.
Yeah, and you see Rocky Boyd getting back up to speed here. Everybody else looks to be okay, Cosmignon included. For anybody
Kevin.
wondering, that was around that 30th position between Onishu and Rocky Boyd. But you see, everybody comes to pit road, and Sean is not happy about Kevin's strategy here.
Hold on. I need to know. Kevin, what are you doing?
I'm leading the race.
All right, that's Kevin. Send him out immediately.
It's pretty cut and dry.
We know where his
if
head's at.
I don't know if he provided any elaboration we didn't already know.
Yeah, that is very true.
Good,
Blake going to win the race off pit road, though.
And it looks like David L. Brown, the good stop. Brandon Hawken. Josh Chin falls back a few spots. I don't know. 17 laps into a run here. But this surface is, extremely worn out, extremely old surface. Doesn't even exist in real life anymore.
Yeah.
At least turns 1 and 2. What do you as a driver, are you thinking 2 or 4 here in terms of tires?
Well, it looks like Blake Reynolds and David Brown answered that question for us. They appear to be the only ones that took 2 tires on that pit stop. My proof of that is Blake Reynolds had a 7.1 second stop and David Brown had a 6.9 second stop. But yeah, everyone else elected to take 4. So this is going to be kind of like our gauge to see how 2 tires will be. So different strategies playing out. Kevin McAdams is not going to come down pit road. He's going to save a set of tires. Same with Chris Wetz right behind him. So they'll be first and second. Blake Reynolds, David Brown in third and fourth on 2 tires. Everybody else on 4. Looks like further back in the field, Ryan Pandicio in the 28th position also took 2 tires. So that's an interesting call there. I mean, you're that far back, you might as well take 4. But nonetheless, different strategies playing out early at the start of this thing.
And like you said, it's going to be a very good gauge here on this restart in terms of, you have Kevin on the no tire strategy. We'll get to see if he gets swallowed alive on this restart. But Blake Reynolds and David L. Brown, they're on the 2. And then everybody else is going to be on those 4 fresh tires. And again, I think once we hit turn 1, turn 2, we'll have a really good feel of how these tires have aged for guys like Kevin McAdams. Here's the choose cone.
Literal choose cone.
Yeah, choose cone cam.
I would love someone to hit it.
Taking 5 seconds to set this up for us so we get a clear and concise view. I was just told that he did not take the 5 seconds to do it. We were reusing the one from last year.
Well, he might have taken 5 seconds last year to do it.
I'd say that's five seconds well spent.
Thank you, 2022, Zach, for providing that camera for us in 2023. Literally wouldn't have
almost
done it
2024. Like a month away, or no, 2 months away. Good at math.
Thanks, Caleb.
Kevin McAdams is going to be your leader on this restart. Lap 18. We've seen some crazy restarts out of guys like Dylan Basin on that initial start. We'll have to see if we get anything like it again. As the leaders approach the restart zone, green flag going to be back out in the air. Kevin McAdams, great launch over Chris Wetz. Blake Reynolds going to try to move into that second position. Is everybody else going to fan out behind him as they go into turn 1?
And we're going to see just how these strategies play out with these tires. So Kevin McAdams elected to take the top lane. There you see Parker White way up against the wall there, a little bit further back. That's all the way back for, looks like the 4th spot. I say all the way back in 4th doesn't really make any sense, but here comes Parker with a big aggressive move down the backstretch, diving it underneath Chris Wetz, Blake Reynolds, and he's looking to get even with Kevin McAdams for the lead.
He says, I've already won 2 races. Why not?
Oh.
He's going to get all the way down to the inside. A little bit of contact further back. Daniel Falkingham, maybe. I think that was Dylan Basin who caught the outside wall. Meanwhile, they're 3 wide for the lead with McAdams, Parker White, and Brandon Hawken. Everybody else saves it. Look at this battle going into turn 1 and 2.
Side by side between Brandon Hawken and Parker White. That was Dylan Basin off of turn 4, hitting the wall and getting a piece of Michael Frisch. So we're going to see if those cars are damaged. There you see Chris Wetz just saying, I don't want any part of this. I'm on old tires. I'm going to just slowly drift to the back. Kevin trying to run that middle to high lane through the corners to maybe kind of keep the momentum up. But on no tires, it's going to be a struggle for him as they're staggered 4 wide. Michael Frisch, Jonathan Oates.
Josh Chin, I thought was going to go around. Nick Miller with a fantastic save. Gets down off the banking for a moment. Looks like he'll recollect himself. They're still 3-4 wide throughout. This is going to be about that 10 to 20 section. And just look all over the racetrack right now.
Dylan Basin working that high lane off of turn number 2. He's going to look for 7th. Look at this big run by Ryan Doucette. Haven't said his name yet in this race. He motors off of turn 2 on the high side of that 077. He moves into 8th. And look at this just gigantic pack of cars right here from Blake Reynolds on back. Jonathan Oates looking to the outside of Reynolds. There's Kevin King underneath Blake in that 88. Right behind him is teammate Nick Miller in that 19. Jonathan Oates giving a big push to Blake Reynolds down the front stretch, and these guys racing awfully hard here on lap 22.
Absolutely, and Kevin King on the back bumper of Blake Reynolds now. There we go.
Thank you, Jacob.
Yeah, it's your cameo for the week. But look at Kevin. He was peeking down to the inside for just a second. And now he is there, and this is to break into the top 10 for Kevin King. And we were talking about how we've seen him ascend through the ranks before and get those points he needs. And we're just shy of halfway in stage number 1. And look at Kevin King breaking his way into the top 10 now.
Here comes Nate Stewart as well in that 4 car, so he's working his way up towards the top 10. New paint scheme for Nate this week. Works his way into turn number 1. Another guy we haven't talked about there in that red 068 car, Bastian Schleiss. He's making his way through the field. Blake Reynolds really not feeling those 2 tires. I didn't really like the call this early on in the race. If you're going to come in, might as well get 4 or maybe even just save a set and stay out. But Blake is slipping back, maybe looking to save those tires. But meanwhile, just ahead of him, we got drivers running everywhere. Ashton Schleiss in the bottom there, Kevin King in the middle. David Cabrera tags the wall off of turn 4 a little bit. And definitely a crazy battle going on from pretty much 9th on back here.
Yeah, lots of racing all over the place. You can see with this pack right here focused on these guys like Josh Chin. You see Jordan Worth on the outside. Right in front of them, Kevin McAdams, who restarted from first, and wheels have really fallen off the wagon there in terms of tire wear. Have some reports of a wreck in the back, and now caution out on the racetrack.
Philip McCandless in the 109 has lost his front end. Not seeing anybody else involved in that quite yet. Rocky Boyd just got by it, so obviously McCandless got the worst of it. We'll get a replay here. We'll see just what happened to the iconic number 109. Watch the purple car there on the bottom. That happened.
Oh, Sebastian Marin.
Sebastian Marin coming off a great finish last week at Phoenix. Got tangled up. I can't really tell who that was that he got tangled up with off of 2. We'll get another angle here. Looks like that was the 224 of Hunter Bailey in the William Byron inspired car. You see body parts flying all over the place there, and everyone's got to scatter down the back straightaway. Marin looks to be okay, but definitely Philip McCandless getting the worst of it. So you're on board.
Pendicio.
See what he sees.
Oh.
Locking the brakes up, swerving into the wall, but it'll do, I guess. Could have been a lot worse for that car, and he has to avoid McCandless there. But definitely a tough break for the 109. That would probably effectively end his race, so definitely don't like to see that, but this will bring out caution number 2 here at Auto Club.
And don't think we're going to see as many takers here on pit road. You see Brandon Hawken retains the lead. Parker White as well. Daniel Falkingham, Michael P. Frisch, all within your top 5 right now. Sean, anybody we want to talk to right now? Anybody that's particularly interesting?
Talk to our leader, Brandon Hawken. Let's get him on in here. Brandon, you got us?
Oh, hey guys, how's it going?
Hey man, it's been a while. I haven't talked to you in a minute. How you doing?
Oh, not too bad. You? Yeah, just having a good old time here.
Yeah, man, I could tell. So leading the race, of course, looking like everyone's looking like they're having a lot of fun up there, at least at the front of the field. So the racing it's been hard, but it's been clean. What's it looking like out of your windshield?
Yeah, fortunately, it's looking pretty clean right now, but I'm not sure. We'll see how it goes over a longer run. But at least in the short run, I feel like I'm in the groove. I have some good speed. Hopefully, I can keep the front tires on the thing. But yeah, feeling good so far. I've been having some really great battles throughout the top 10 throughout the race so far. So yeah, looking forward to the rest of it. And yeah, just hope just gonna try and do all I can to try and make it into the final 4. it's looking like a bit of a long shot for points. So yeah, I'm just going out here, just gonna give it my all and see what we can do here.
Yeah, for sure. We were kind of talking. It's kind of like a must-win situation for you guys, a little bit outside the top four. So definitely going to be a very important thing for you to kind of keep that 099 up there. So I was kind of looking around. Everybody's running the top, the bottom, middle as expected for Auto Club. Where are you most comfortable, do you think, on the racetrack?
I found around the middle line seems to be pretty much my comfort place there. I was on the bottom there for a couple laps, and I didn't really like it too much, so I'm not sure if that'll be a detriment to me in the long run, but yeah, I'm really liking the middle right now.
Absolutely, man. Well, you can run anywhere, so it's looking like that middle lane might be the way to go, especially kind of what I was noticing too, especially for fending people off. But I'll let you get back to it, man. Don't want to take your mind off it too much. You were down there with David and them, right? Down in the Nexus channel? Okay, I did a great job of pulling you up here and forgetting what channel you were in. But Brandon, always pleasure talking to you, dude. Best of luck out there. Go get him.
Hey, you too, Sean. Have a good time up in the booth, and yeah, hopefully we can talk to y'all at the end of this thing.
I have my fingers crossed, sir. We looking forward to it, dude. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
I love talking to Brandon Hawken. He is just the nicest, happiest sounding guy on the service. So definitely good to talk to him. So.
I don't think I've ever heard Brandon Hawken upset or mad or anything. Like he's always just radiating peace and positivity. Big fan of Brandon Hawken as a lead right now.
Absolutely. So we're coming back racing. So Hawken, the aforementioned. Look at Michael Frisch there, P2, another guy in a must-win situation pretty much. So we'll see what the championship contenders on the outside looking in can do. Green flag back out. Another time the leader chooses the outside, Caleb. We saw Kevin McAdams do it on restart 1. Hawken does the same thing in restart number 2, and that looks very clear that outside has the bigger advantage.
Absolutely, and maybe trying to spool those things up, going the long way around the racetrack. Michael P. Frisch here on the bottom, and all of a sudden the top 5 looks like all playoff drivers with the exception of your Barr Visuals FTF 500 winner and Ryan Doucette. Look at this. You got Michael P. Frisch, Daniel Falkingham trying to make a pass on the outside now as they go into 3. Still going to be side by side. Here comes Seth Knoll trying to break into the top 5 right behind him.
Good run for Seth going so far in the number 1 car, so we'll see how he can do. Here comes a big run by Ryan Doucette off of turn 4, looking underneath Michael Frisch. That's for 4th. Trying to get that side draft, but he just doesn't quite have the speed to get up there. Going to throw it into turn 1, hope it sticks, but Frisch, as Brandon Hawken was mentioning, going to use that middle lane to his advantage. And as you can see, it looks like it is the fastest way around this racetrack for sure.
And over the course of a run, do you think that's going to come at the expense of your tire? Oh, caution on the racetrack. Wreck in the back.
Dylan Basin is around on the back. It looks like Scott Rickard was involved in it.
Chris Wett's right there as well.
Zach Hudson is slow in the 93. What happened here? This is probably our biggest wreck so far, and that's a surprise. Dylan Basin, we saw him leading the race early, literally went to the front in one corner at the start of the race. Let's see what happened. Way back in the field, that's Dylan Basin there. The 93 is just very slow off the corner. Wetz just comes up into Kevin McAdams. That spins him, and just everyone just multiple things happened in that wreck.
Looks like 3 wrecks started at the same time.
In the same area. So let's see, that 93 car, that's Zach Hudson, just very slow off the corner there. Basin wasn't expecting it. Then he gets hooked, goes around 2 other cars. Basin looks like he hits the wall there. And I think that was Brian Sabelski that I was talking about. Didn't have anywhere to go off the corner there. Basin got into him. There you see Wetz back there spinning. So that was... Our buddy Travis Brown uses this a lot, but that wreck is like an onion, had a lot of layers to it. So this is on board with Brian Sabelski. There's Wetz spinning. There's everything else happening, and just everything happened too quick in front. Slaps the inside wall with the rear and left front, so that is not going to be good for the handling of that car for Brian Sabelski. So he's going to have to come in and get that fixed. But caution number 3, Jacob, that was a... out of all the wrecks that have happened, that was certainly one of them.
Jacob. Wow.
Getting word that was Scott Rickard we were on board with in that Tire Pros car. My apologies. Scott. Didn't mean
Just
to.
a big jumble of names there for you, Sean.
Didn't mean to call you the wrong name. It was a cavalcade of names in there for that. But caution number 3, definitely a head scratcher for that.
And Parker White, you saw there, gas and go for that 011 machine. He wins the race off pit road. Meanwhile, everything's going to shuffle up here a bit now. Hawkins still going to retain your lead. Michael P. Frisch, Daniel Falkingham, Seth Knoll, and Nate Stewart round out your top 5. We'll try to talk.
Hey, Blake.
What's up?
What are you doing?
Oh, we're driving under caution.
Why did you take 2 tires?
I took none.
Well, you took fuel only when you came in? Why?
Because we are severely limited on tires, in my opinion.
How many sets? We have 4 sets?
So we had 6 in the pits when we started.
Okay.
Everyone's taking them, and I mean, if you just go by 20 laps every time, that's not enough, you know?
Yeah, I hear you. Are you at all concerned about, the minefield you'll have to potentially go through once you decide to turn the afterburners on here?
Sorry, Justin's talking. What'd you ask me?
Wow, just unbelievable. Are you at all concerned about, the minefield you'll inevitably have to go through when you decide, hey, I want to be at the front?
Yeah, these people are like not going full throttle on the straightaway. It's kind of bizarre, but at the same time, I'm not surprised. Just the back of the field here in FTF.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident I can just roll top here because I do have a tire advantage than these people in front of me. So, yeah, we're gonna do that.
So, do you feel the top lane is the best lane right now?
On the restarts, yeah. It's just you get side sucked so bad.
Well, Blake, I know you're coming to the choose. Where are you choosing?
Probably top. I mean, that was a double bottom.
Yeah, I was about to say, you got the top. What is... Oh, I think Nick Miller hit it.
Oh, he stalled it.
Oh, how'd he stall it? Wow. We do not accept that toxicity in here, Blake. This is a positive...
Please be respectful of all of your competitors, please.
Please be respectful.
It's all right. Sorry, Nick Miller. You're not an idiot.
All right. I'm going to bring you down to your first 4 room down there, Blake. You have a fantastic rest of your race. Please do not crash.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, okay. That's Blake Reynolds. Always a interesting interview, to say the least.
Yeah, I got word on that. You heard he mentioned Justin was talking. That was a black flag on Zach Hudson, who was given a end-of-line penalty for a restart violation. That last restart, and he's serving that now. Green flag back in the air for Brandon Hawken. He starts alongside Daniel Falkingham, and a big jump for this 099. Looks like we're stacking up in the back.
Bit of a close call there. Jonathan Oates and Seth Knoll on that restart. Oates, I don't think he knew Seth was there. Nearly got ugly right there. They keep it going. Now that high side, you see it working. Matthews whack almost comes up in, and Nate Stewart off of turn 2. 3x3s. Whack stuck in the middle. David Cabrera motoring by on the top. Jonathan Oshlin in the 11 car, kind of stuck back there. Cole Freilich in the 15. That blue, black, and white car. Haven't mentioned him at all. And there you see Blake, as he said on the restart, just ripping the top with his slightly older tires. But you will see where he can get. But definitely all these restarts have been very interesting and fun to watch, all at the same time. As we have a battle for the lead, Daniel Falkingham dives underneath Brandon Hawken to take it away.
And Hawken's going to have that momentum on the high side. We'll see if he can cross him over. Big slide move here from Daniel Falkingham, who now gets up towards the wall. Look at Michael P. Frisch in third as well. Falkingham swerving all over the racetrack now, trying to pick up Frisch. Maybe he will. Now Frisch is underneath Brandon Hawken for the second position. Jonathan Oates trying to enter this battle as well. And Brandon Hawken, after restarting on the lead and having control of this race, looks like he might be in a little bit of a free fall.
That was a very smart move there by Falkingham. Went to the middle lane on the backstretch to give the draft to Michael Frisch to allow him to get alongside Hawken, maybe slow each other down. But we're seeing that backfire now as Michael Frisch will dive to the inside of Falkingham and move that 58 to P1 here as he gets off the corner. Another driver in a must-win situation. Michael P. Frisch, your leader.
And I think it was another smart move as well for Brandon Hawken to just live to fight another day and got in behind Daniel Falkingham. You'll see Seth Knoll try to send it right underneath. Don't think he'll have the real estate for it.
Oh, David Cabrera just slapped the wall off of turn number 4. That's going to let Cole Freilich get to his outside. I just realized, Caleb, that there are 2 Cheddar's restaurant cars in this race. I just saw that. So David Cabrera in the 31 has Cheddar's on his car, as well as Kevin McAdams in the 26, sponsored by Cheddar's. So they're very well represented in this one.
Seth Knoll got super loose and thought he lost it for a second right in front of Nate Stewart, but looks like he saved it. Nate Stewart there, Jordan Worth in this battle as well. And yeah, well, right now David Cabrera is running better, the 2 Cheddar's machines, but I guess the self... Oh, Matthew Zwack gets doored. He goes all the way down to the inside. It was by the aforementioned David Cabrera there. He'll slide back up into line and try to rearrange things, but as I was saying, we'll keep you updated on the self-dub battle for croissants between Cabrera and McAdams. McAdams right now in 22nd.
Plus-halt battle here at Auto Club. So Jordan Worth trying to make his way up through the field. Had a little bit of a good march there. He's sliding back a little bit. Had a bad exit off of 2. But there is the man we just spoke with under caution, Blake Reynolds. And it just all over the place. Nick Miller kind of gets out of his way off of 4. He's going to go 3 wide up the middle there alongside Josh Chin. Blake Reynolds is a man on a mission right now, trying to get up to that lead as he will fall in line there. Nick Miller will. Jordan Worth going to make it 3 wide under Oshalim, and in between he and Miller. That 66 looking awfully sporty here as we're getting close to 10 laps to go in stage 1.
And you got to wonder at this point if there's anybody who's trying to, or starting to feel that urgency of the stage coming to a close. As you mentioned, just about 13 laps to go, going to be 12 coming to the line in the stage. You see Nate Stewart trying to get by Frisch here for the lead. Oh, Josh Chin's going to get turned right off the nose of Jonathan Oates, and he'll spin into the tribal grass. Caution flag out here at Auto Club, just 12 laps shy of the end of stage number 1, and it's Josh Chin, who had been running up inside the top 5, top 10 all day. He takes a quick spin after a little bit of contact, and we'll take a look and see exactly what happened there, but pretty cut and dry, I think, there, and just 4 wide in the corner, and you run out of room on the straightaway.
Looks like he's a victim of Cole Freilich getting loose in front of him. He has to check up, go down a little bit to try to avoid, and Jonathan Oates was there, so definitely not a very winnable situation there, I think, for Josh Chin. Here's on board Jonathan Oates. There you see the bobble by Freilich, and just nothing really Chin could have done there unless just he wants to run into the back of just Cole Freilich there. So definitely a tough break there. And speaking of tough breaks, it appears Brandon Hawken has just fallen out of the server there due to packet loss. So that is championship implications for one of our round of 8 title contenders. He's able to hop back in, but definitely not what Brandon Hawken wants to see at this point.
And not only a championship contender, but somebody who's been in the lead for a fair portion of this race. And under that last cycle, Michael P. Frisch was able to take it away. It'll be Frisch as your leader, Nate Stewart second, Daniel Falkingham third, Seth Knoll in fourth, and Cole Freilich as your top 5. 40 laps complete here at Auto Club, and we'll have the rest for you when we come back right after these messages here on FTF.gg. Welcome back to the Slipstream Science 300K at Auto Club here. You see, coming to the restart, everybody choosing this time. Choose. Oh my God, Brandon Hawken flies by there on the high side, getting his lap back.
Ben Easterday reference. Wow. Look at that.
Yeah, shout out to Ben. I was hoping somebody would catch on to that. But either way, going to be in an interesting scenario here with Michael P. Frisch as your leader here on lap 41. Going to be short of 10 laps until the end of stage number 1. Going to be some valuable points on the line for your playoff drivers, all highlighted in yellow on the ticker. Either way, Michael P. Frisch, big launch here on the restart. Green flag back out at Auto Club. Going to be side by side for second behind the number 58 machine. Nate Stewart and Jonathan Oshilem now battle as they go into 1.
Another great launch by the leader on the outside lanes. So as we see everybody fanning out again, Parker White goes way up to the wall. Everybody running that middle to low lane there with a few exceptions. Frisch trying to give the draft to Oshilem, keep them side by side down the back, and Nate Stewart using that momentum from the top lane to propel himself into second. Gets a little bit loose in 3 and 4. They're very close quarters. Here comes Blake Reynolds to the inside, 3 wide for second. Parker White looking to dive underneath all of them as well. He'll come down to help Reynolds.
Gonna get a little bit of that draft. Look at Falkingham and Nate Stewart hooked up on the high side. Parker White gonna move underneath Blake Reynolds now. Thinking about 3 wide as they go into 1, but not quite with enough real estate. Nate Stewart gonna slide up in front of Falkingham again now. Michael P. Frisch as well, trying to get up right against that wall. David Cabrera making big moves in the back, and Kevin McAdams is taking that lead back. Look at Daniel Falkingham here diving underneath Nate Stewart now. He might try to get there to Frisch.
And Michael P. Frisch, this would be huge if he could win this stage to get him so much closer to having a chance at advancing to the championship 4. 7 laps to go in stage number 1. Can Frisch hold off Falkingham and Nate Stewart? And oh yeah, this guy Parker White diving to the inside of Daniel Falkingham for second. But it looks like Falkingham's going to get the momentum on exit.
Look at Parker White as well. He has been on an absolute tear since the restart, all the way up to P3 now. Moving in behind that 054 machine now. Nate Stewart all over the tail end of Parker White's 011. Look at Jordan Worth as well. Big send down to the inside. Can't quite get up to this battle, but certainly on the move right now for that number 97. Here comes Parker White down to the inside, maybe thinking about the lead.
That's a good corner there for Jordan. I mean, he was able to get alongside Blake Reynolds. You can send it into the corners here at Auto Club pretty hard if you can get it slowed down, as Parker White is trying to demonstrate here. Look at that move. Trying to slide job Michael Frisch. He's going to get crossed over. Frisch is going to have the momentum off the corners. White going to be able to hang on with the side draft. Frisch breaks it. Here comes Falkingham looking to push Frisch over. Here comes Stewart with a big shot to Parker. And these guys are getting physical at the front. Here comes Seth Knoll diving to the inside.
4 playoff drivers in the top 5, all trying to fight for this stage win as we come to 5 laps to go. Big move from Falkingham. He tries to put the block on Frisch. They're still side by side. At the line, gonna be, looks like Falkingham with the lead, but Frisch might try to have something here. Down to the inside. Nate Stewart in this battle as well. What do you do if you're Blake Reynolds? Do you try to keep ripping that top? Frisch gonna try to clear himself on Falkingham out of 2.
Auto Club is auto clubbing right now, and I love to watch it. It's such great racing every time, especially in these cars. Here comes Parker White. Big move to the inside. He's going to throw it in. Frisch is going to seal him off, though. He saw it coming. Gives him the dirty air. Parker White has some grip on the bottom. He might be side by side for the lead off of 4.
Here comes Parker White. As you mentioned, was able to make it stick. And at the line, Parker White, yes. Frisch trying to side draft him. Here comes big run from Daniel Falkingham and Blake Reynolds. All these drivers right now running 1, 2, 3, 4. They're fanning out 3 wide for the lead here on lap 47. Parker White all the way down to the inside. Again, trying to make it stick on the underside of Michael P. Frisch. On board with Falkingham now. He has a big run. Just going to give it to Frisch here, it looks like.
Big moment for Blake Reynolds off of turn 2. Got very loose. He's able to keep it going. There you see that bump from Falkingham to Frisch. He's going to push him out to the lead. Parker White trying to make one last run at it. Can't quite draw alongside of Frisch. Coming down to 3 laps to go in stage number 1. Again, this stage imperative for Michael Frisch to win. He needs to be flawless in this race, no mistakes, and potentially has to win. And he's putting himself in a great spot early as he's able to hang on to this top spot for Parker White. White with a great quarter on the bottom of 1 and 2, but just can't quite match the momentum of the 58 in that middle lane.
And Frisch really doesn't want these points to go to waste. Again, Parker White already clinched his ticket to Atlanta next week. Frisch needs every point he can get, and that, I think, is helping fuel him right now. Either way, Parker White all the way down to the inside. And don't look now, but Kevin McAdams has moved into the top 5 as well. He might look past Daniel Falkingham for P3.
And Kevin might have something to say about this. Doesn't only want to win the battle of the Cheddar's cars.
One car spinning. Looks
Josh
like caution's
Chin?
going to be out. Yeah, Josh Chen slides up back in front of the pack. Ryan Naraki might have gotten a piece of it. Either way, man.
I believe that will be the end of stage 1 as the caution came out inside of 5 laps to go in the stage. So Michael Frisch will hold on and win a humongous stage here in the most important race of his season so far. But man, what a battle at the front there. That was fantastic to watch. Not only hard racing, but clean racing. Big shout out to these guys for putting on a heck of a show for the end of that stage.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get a quick replay here to see what happened. And again, going to start.
Is that Tyler Williams? No, there's Chin on the bottom getting loose. Gets up into Williams. Kind of come to blows there. Unintentional, of course. What in the world happens here? So they just hook each other.
Naraki does get a piece of it, yeah.
Ryan Naraki, yeah, I think that was Rocky Boyd as well. Got a piece of that. Just Chin came back up into the field.
Might need an onboard here with Kevin King as well, who had all this unfold right in front of him. And I'm not sure from Chin if this was just side draft gone wrong and he misjudged his space or what happened here. But you see
that was
contact.
Kevin King. Oh.
Yeah. And again, in a race like this, a cutoff before the championship 4 is decided, every little moment like that, that will decide your season in an instant. And we'll get one more look at it on board this time with championship contender Kevin King, defending Barr Visuals FTF Cup Series champion, who's fighting to keep it alive. And this happens right in front of him.
Tries to split him there. He might have gotten away with not terrible damage. He'll definitely have to come in and get that fixed. Plenty of time, though, for him to kind of get that car fixed. And there you see heavy left front damage on that 88 machine. So definitely not ideal for Kevin. That might be his championship there. We will see at the end of this race. But a lot of drivers here coming down pit road. A lot of drivers staying out, which is a big surprise. David Brown, you see him there. Nick Miller staying out. Jack Mace staying out. Matthew Zwack staying out. And it looks like Ryan Doucette is going to be your winner off of pit road for that. So definitely one of the more interesting calls by this group to kind of stay out at this stage of the race.
Definitely interesting for sure is, again, if we're splitting this race up into like 50 lap stints, something like that, then this, you feel like would be a perfect time to come down and get tires and fuel with no real penalty or stipulation. But we'll see how it plays out for him. And looking around the field right now, definitely have shaken things up with that last caution and where it's fallen right at the end of stage number 1. Your new top 5 going to be David L. Brown, Nick Miller, Jack Mace, Matthew Zwack, and Ryan Doucette. Some playoff drivers as they run right now, all kind of in the back half of the top 10 right now. Daniel Falkingham and Michael P. Frisch are your first drivers in 7th and 8th. Parker White 9th. Blake Reynolds in 11th. Then you'll have to travel back pretty far, unless I missed them.
David,
but they're all in top 10.
What the heck are you doing?
We're staying out here. I took a tire set like 15 laps ago, and it wasn't worth taking another one just yet.
Okay, I was just curious. Just wanted to, see the reasoning behind the move. I see it, but We got a little bit before we go green. How's your race been, man? You know, you've been kind of marred a little outside the top 10, but good to see you up at the front. How's the race been from your vantage point?
Pretty hectic. I had a crazy avoidance there when the 93 got turned. I had no idea that was happening because I was watching, I think it was the 71 that got turned at the same time. So all of a sudden I made a move and there was a car sideways in front of me.
Are you winning WNIS tomorrow?
Are we talking fixed or open?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, the confidence on this guy, unbelievable. But all right, I'm gonna get you back down to Nexus. You guys are going back to green, but good luck to you, man. Keep that thing straight.
Thanks, bud.
David Brown with the call to stay out, and he's going to be the first of our leaders, I think, to choose the bottom on this restart. So definitely an interesting call there from David.
And we'll see how it plays out, but ideally, you know, that top side would give you a wider arc and again would let you build up your momentum quicker. But we'll see how it plays out for this 83 machine staying out. Green flag back in the air. Nick Miller does not get going at all. It's a big stack up on the high side. Jack May's going to clearly have second place. They are going to be fanning out big time if I'd had to imagine. There they go, 3 wide, a little further on back, and this gives a little bit of extra cushion to David L. Brown.
But he's going to get eaten up by these new tires in a heartbeat. Daniel Falkingham already up to second, side by side with Jack Mace. And look at everybody just fanning out down the back straightaway. I love watching these restarts here at Auto Club. 3 wide there, you see Dylan Basin. We saw him involved in a couple of accidents. He's working his way back up with a big shot from Jordan Worth going into 3. Maybe not clear enough on Nick Miller there to keep that thing ahead. Worth going to try to push him down the front straightaway. But we have made it to lap 54 here at Auto Club as battle for the lead. You knew it was coming. Here comes Falkingham with those fresh tires to the inside.
Not even close right there for Falkingham. Just blows by David L. Brown. And now trying to, you know, build up as much of a gap as he can back to Michael P. Frisch, who obviously has those valuable stage points from that stage 1 win. And Falkingham, he has 2 cars to kind of build some distance, which ideally he would be able to do, just get out in front and try to log laps off at this point.
And Michael Frisch with a big move underneath Jack Mace here for third. There you see the first side-by-side battle. Frisch in that purple and white number 58, trying to make that bottom lane work. It is very important to have as much draft as you possibly can on the front stretch especially. It's so important. But Mace able to make that top lane work. You're going to see him use that momentum, but Frisch has a great 1 and 2 to stay alongside. But the momentum just too much for that 07 there. He's going to get a great run under David Brown here for second.
And a good run here from Jack Mace. You see Matthew Zwack fanning out a little further on back. Right at the cusp of this top 5. Parker White trying to get past Zwack now. Maybe makes a big move like we've seen multiple times here tonight where he's just gone from the top side, big swerve all the way down to the inside and taking that going into the corner. He won't choose to do it here, but something that he's shown he has in his tool bucket is we might be 4 wide here.
That was very close. David Brown pinching a little bit off the corner. There you see Zwack there with a big run off the top side to get by Michael Frisch. Jordan Worth trying to push Parker White there. That's going to be for 5th. White is going to throw it in there, but a driver that we haven't really talked that much about is making his way back up. He kind of slipped back a little bit, but we knew he wouldn't be back there for long. That 007 of Malik Ray making his presence felt up at the front. Look at him split David Brown and Jordan Worth in the front stretch, make an aggressive move to the bottom of Parker White. And here comes Malik. You know he wasn't going to stay in the middle of the pack for that long. He's looking for the lead, and he's looking for the top 5 as well.
And this is just, as Jacob Hitz would say, a whole gaggle of cars right here. And Malik Ray with Jordan Worth, both of them trying to bust into the top 5. Going to be pretty difficult, but again, they have that tire advantage, and you know, he could find themselves battling for it. Here comes Jack Mason starting to subside up on that high side. Not only not able to keep that momentum good, but very soon going to start running into some pretty severe handling issues, you got to imagine.
I mean, he could, but you never know. I mean, these things could even out. He could have maybe found something. We'll see. But all of this is exactly what Daniel Falkenham wants to see. So, yes, he's still out front, but he's got that big hornet's nest of cars behind him. Everyone's side by side from second on back, and that's going to let Falkenham maybe kind of keep his tires a little bit fresher than everybody. Maybe just kind of save the rear tires a little bit. Use that time to kind of go easy on the car there while everyone's running hard side by side. So he's definitely going to look for that as they are still side by side off turn 4. Malik with a big move underneath Jordan Worth, making it 3 wide there for 5th. Doesn't really have any help on the bottom, though. He's going to go back up to the middle there, get underneath Michael Frisch. What a move on the front stretch there by Malik Ray. 3 by 3 for second.
Has Parker White in tow now, and Michael P. Frisch, a little bit of a wiggle out of him right in the middle, 3 wide for second right now. Matthew Zwack trying to use that momentum on the high line. Look at Malik Ray squeezing Jordan Worth now. Michael P. Frisch going to be able to get right back in front of that 007 machine and recontrol that second position. And I think you bring up a great point there, Sean, and just, you know, Falkenham doesn't have to take it 100% right now. Big block there from Malik Ray as well. But, you know, meanwhile, everybody else behind him, it feels like they're pushing 150% right now. And, you know, how hard they're racing these things around Auto Club.
Absolutely. And I mean, if I'm Daniel Falkenham, I'm liking what I'm seeing in my mirror. Last couple laps, Michael Frisch finally able to break free from the big group of cars there. So Frisch is going to give Falkenham a little bit of a run for his money, but I think that's what Falkenham wants to see. If this thing ends up being a longer green flag run, he may have the potential to use the tires he was saving there to give himself some distance on this field. So it is next to impossible as we are
Jonathan Oates and
Ashland
going to get turned right in front of the field. Chris Wetz, everybody else going to have to make evasive maneuvers. One more car just backed into the outside wall pretty considerably. Caution flag out here on lap 61. And it started with Ashland and Jonathan Oates making contact out of 4. They just ran a little bit too wide right there. Looks like that's going to be Gavin Newton in the 748.
I had to say something for that, so that's partially my fault, I guess. But I'm very curious to see what happened here. So let's take a look. You see Gavin Newton, the 48 car right in the middle there. Jonathan Oates, 4 wide, staggered 5 wide almost. They are 5 wide. And Oates just coming off the corner, didn't really give Ashland the room he needed. And that kind of stacked things up on the top side. Everyone just kind of met there. And I don't know. Like, that's a tough one to call. We'll wait for race control's official wording on that. You're still in Basin again. Does he? I think he goes through the grass to avoid this. Let's see what he sees. Dylan has been all over the racetrack here. Does he just dive to the grass to avoid this, or is he staying on the track? Everything is happening in front of him. Just maneuvers his way around the 48 car there of Gavin Newton. Get another look here. Were they 5 wide? They're 4 wide right here.
At the exit, I think they get 5 right there.
Yep. And Oates just pushes up a little too far. Maybe didn't know they were still 3 wide. Sebastian Marin. What happened to him?
Okay, nothing.
Zach
on 48.
Pushing our buttons here.
Anyway, and you see everybody pit here. It's a good opportunity for some of our guys who are up inside the top 5 on those older tires to come get new life. And with that said, we had more, with more takers on pit road, had a few more stay out. Seth Knoll, Blake Reynolds, Cole Freilich, Chris Wetz, and Brandon Hawken, all your new top 5. The only ones who stayed out, about 10 lap old tires. And, maybe, strength comes in numbers here where, maybe one of you is going to get picked off, but all 5 of you can kind of try to form up and hold the rest of the field at bay.
Michael Philip Frisch.
Hello.
You are just everywhere at the front of the field, but you're having a good race, man. As much as it pains me to say, it's been fun watching you kind of lead some laps here, man. How's it going for you behind the wheel of the 58?
It's pretty good. We got a fast piece tonight. I mean, I was already fighting for my life there for that stage one off Parker right there. I mean, no, I mean, we're throwing all the chips on the table out here at Auto Club. It's pretty much win or go home.
Yep.
But so when we have that mentality, I mean, really don't care about anyone else beside you. Care about your race and that's it. So we just kind of been taking it easy and we have not been taking it easy. We've been aggressive. But the racing has been fun. Definitely multi-groove. It's very fun to set up the picks on here. So yeah, it's been a good night.
Where are you choosing? You going the bottom, the top? You're going the top?
Top. Yeah, if you can really get to somebody's right rear on entry, you basically got them.
Well, as much as I hate to say this, Frisch, I'm rooting for you to win this race. It would be good to see you, just kind of force your way in there, at the last second, get to the championship 4 and have a chance to win it. So just please don't wreck in that 58. We would not like to see that.
For once, we're faster than Parker White, so we're going to try to keep on to this piece.
Oh, boy. We'll hold you to that. But, Frisch, good luck to you, man. Keep that thing going.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Zach, for that message in our group.
Unbelievable, Sean. Can you just put aside the bias for one race? Hating on my man Frisch.
I can do that.
All right, well, we'll try to do it for the rest of this race. Seth Knowles, your leader. Blake Reynolds starts alongside him. Brandon Hawken as well. Green flag back in the air. The high side prevails once again. They're side by side for second going into turn 1. A little bit of deja vu.
Frisch and I just have a long-standing beef. That's just goes back a long way. But he chose the top lane there. Brandon Hawken did too, and he's going to motor by Blake Reynolds. And you see that top lane, a lot of drivers populating it at the moment. A huge run by Hawken. And how about this recovery from Brandon Hawken? Fell out of the server a few laps ago, it seemed. Went multiple laps down, got his laps back, and here he is back at the front of the field. Kevin McAdams pancakes the wall off a 4. But great to see that 099 make that full recovery back. New leader, Brandon Hawken.
And thought for a moment he would be dead in the water, but as you said, gets back up to the lead and is out here leading laps, albeit on a little bit of tire strategy. We'll see if he's going to be able to catch a caution or just straight up hold these guys off. Seth Noel, Malik Ray, your top 3 right now. Playoff driver Blake Reynolds running in the tire tracks right now in 4th. Meanwhile, everybody on these fresh tires behind him, led by Malik Ray and Michael P. Frisch, trying to get back up to this lead. Here's Daniel Falkingham down on the inside. Big move underneath Cole Freilich. And you can see the tire discrepancy really coming into play here. Falkingham and Malik Ray now lined up together on the inside just a little bit. And both these guys are your top chargers on these fresh tires under that last caution.
Yeah, we heard Blake Reynolds mentioning just how important the tires are going to be. Matthews Whack with a big move underneath Cole Freilich to get him out of the way. Here comes Parker White with a big run off of turn 2. Going to be cut off by Zwack there. But we heard Blake talking about just how important tires are going to be and when you take them. So these are definitely going to be crucial calls throughout this race to see how big of an advantage you can have with these tires and how good of a spot you can put yourself in, really, as they are 4 wide, looking 5 wide back here. Cosman thinks better of it. Ryan Doucette there in the bottom lane. Josh Chin, Jack Mace there. And the racing has been fast and furious, for lack of a better term. There's Davey. You can see Davey. He's on board with Jordan Worth there, and he is right in the thick of this pack.
And all over the back bumper of Josh Chin, and now trying to ride this momentum on the high side. Oh, Dylan Basin spinning down the back stretch. Don't think we're going to get a caution for it, but this is a promising night has turned sour for Dylan Basin very quickly, and a caution will come out. It looks like.
Malik Ray just took the lead right before that caution came out. This is not the first time we've seen Dylan Basin get in trouble in this race, so we'll take a look and see just exactly what the heck happened there. Definitely not how Dylan Basin wanted this race to go. We'll take a look. He's that car in the bottom lane, that 04. Does he just get loose on exit? Nate Stewart coming up.
Oh, Tyler Williams, I think, makes contact with him.
Yeah, 34, Tyler Williams gets loose off of turn 2, swerves into Dylan. Dylan just kind of overcorrects it a bit, does a good job of doing the best he can to keep out of traffic there, but definitely a tough break. There you see Tyler Williams just losing the rear end of that 34 car. Basin, nothing really he could do at all. But good job by everybody to avoid the out-of-control car, that 04, and we continue on. But yet another caution here at Auto Club. They're kind of mounting a little bit.
And we started off with a few pretty long runs, or pretty sizable runs at least, and have now gotten snake bitten in a few consecutive ones here. You see everybody dip onto the pit lane, led by playoff driver Blake Reynolds, Michael P. Frisch here as well. Kevin McAdams a little further back, Cosmin Ionescu. And we'll see what the play is for these three. Gotta think, you know, do you think you would take fuel only, or are you getting some fresh rubber here?
I mean, I think you got to take tires at this point. I mean, it depends on, you know, when you do come in, but we'll see. You know, there's a lot of different calls you can make, especially at this juncture. But it looks like a lot of guys either coming in to get a splash of fuel or get some damage fixed. But definitely an interesting call here as the race goes on, what you do in these later pit stops.
Malik Ray, Brandon Hawking, and Daniel Falkingham are your top three here on lap 69 at Auto Club. We'll see you on the flip side for the restart. Again, Malik Ray and Brandon Hawking going to lead us to it on FTF.gg. Welcome back to the Slipstream Science 300K at Auto Club. Caleb Hoffman here with Sean Butler alongside me. Zach Johnson in the production trailer, being a tyrant as always. And
yep.
Malik Ray here has inherited the lead. You know, it did come with a little bit of tire strategy. He was able to get by all those guys on the older tires that last restart, but nonetheless has inherited the lead and has basically the best tires out of everyone up here inside the top 10. You'd have to go all the way back to everybody who just came down pit lane, led by Blake Reynolds, who's in the 20th position right now. And, you know, if you're one of those guys in the mid-20s, Sean, you know, how hard is it to overcome that track position gap? We saw Parker White a little bit earlier. It felt like he kind of got clogged back up, you know, back there a little bit earlier. Is that something that's, you know, impossible to overcome at a track like Auto Club?
I mean, it definitely isn't, but it's definitely not what you want to put yourself in, especially if you're back in the quote-unquote minefield, for lack of a better term, as we've been calling it, with all these drivers just going all over the place to make up track position, top, bottom, middle, anywhere in between. So you really have to set yourself up for success every corner if you want to make sure you're getting out of that group. And we've seen guys, like Kevin King have a hard time kind of starting to drift back there, get stuck, and ultimately get involved in wrecks. So that is definitely stuff you have to be aware of if you're in that middle group there. But if you can get out of there unscathed, you definitely give yourself a good chance to win.
Going to be interesting here for sure on this restart. Again, a few playoff drivers back in that battle. Either way, a few more playoff drivers up here at the front, and led by Daniel Falkingham, who starts next to Malik Ray, who's going to lead us to the green, and we'll see if these playoff drivers can make some noise up here even further. Malik Ray gets the green flag, and again, launched out of a cannon on that outside lane. Brandon Hawken alongside Falkingham now. He'll try to inherit the second position. And Daniel Falkingham going to fight back on the inside. He has help from Matthew Zwack behind.
David Brown made it 3 wide, a little further back in the pack. Had a bottleneck going into turn 1. They are 4 wide off of turn number 2. Ryan Araki trying to make up some ground back there. Parker White, we mentioned kind of being in the middle of this group here. He's not wasting any time going from 15th on the restart back towards the top 10. And look at everybody. I love this shot in the corners on the restarts here at Auto Club. You just see where everybody is at all times. As we got trouble off of turn 4.
Gavin Newton, I think, just went around, spun back in front of the field. Cosmonaut Neshu's in it. There's Gavin Newton sliding through the grass on the inside. And again, finding ourselves in this these cycle of late race cautions, or I guess mid-race cautions at this point.
All these wrecks happening towards the back of the field, which it's frustrating for the leaders. Malik Ray just disconnected. I kind of don't blame him. He's one of the guys that want to just race constantly. Tyler Williams again, looking like he was the inadvertent cause of this thing. Cosman narrowly avoiding the tire barrier on the entry to pit road. Did clip the little concrete lip there that has them, but yeah, Williams just got into contact with Ashton Schleiss there off the corner. And again, these wrecks don't need to happen. And it is very frustrating for our leaders. They want to be up there. They've put on a great show this entire race. Definitely want to see them racing, but it just gets kind of frustrating and old when you see everybody just back towards the rear of the field, just constantly crashing. So definitely a lot of avoidable cautions in this one, and tensions maybe rising toward the front of the field, and that'll maybe make the drivers toward the front make some more desperate moves here if these wrecks keep happening, especially towards the twilight of this race.
And you mentioned Malik Ray there disconnecting after leading a little bit of the last 10-15 laps, but either way, it's a difficult position to be in when you're not battling for a championship. Just trying to come out here and get wins, and sometimes it can be mentally demanding. With this many cautions, you just sit around and pace forever, it feels like. But it's what you're gonna have to battle through if you want a championship for guys like Daniel Falkingham and Brandon Hawken up here in the top 2.
Yeah, and I'm a guilty one when I say I get frustrated when stuff like this happens. The leaders up at the front of the field, you're having a great fun race with everybody up there, racing clean, racing hard, and they just can't stop wrecking in the back. So, and that'll just kind of keep slowing all this stuff down. So definitely not one of the fun situations here, but one of the guys that does look like he's having fun is our race leader, Daniel Falkingham. And Daniel, you've been up at the front of the field a good chunk of this race. We've asked everybody that's been leading so far how they've been faring in this race. So how you think your race has gone so far? A bit of a roller coaster towards the top 10.
It really has. It's been a good race for us so far. Just pretty much the main goal tonight is just to get as many points as we can to make sure we're in a good spot to make that Final Four. We came in the highest on points, so as long as we just collect a lot of good points in case we get wrecked late in the race, we still have those points to fall back on. So, but I've been surprised how many yellows we've had. I thought we'd have a lot of green flag racing with how wide and racy this track is, but doesn't seem to be the case. But thankfully, I'm not part of it yet, so it's really good so far.
Yeah, we just touched on that. A lot of the wrecks seem to be happening in the back. So as As one of the drivers up front, how frustrating is that? You know, you're having a great run, you're racing with everybody up at the front clean. It's been 4, 5 wide, but not a whole lot of contact or incidents between everybody, and yet you just still see that yellow flag just pop up with no indication of where it is. So is the frustration level getting high up at the front with these drivers, or what's going on there?
I'm not sure. Well, as we saw with Malik there, he pulled over an Alta Ford, so we know how he feels about this. But it can be frustrating because we all can have a really good race up here, but it's just like I said, it's FTF. We're gonna get those races sometimes, but it just sucks when it happens at really good like racetracks like this. So, but that's just part of the game. It's gonna happen, but hopefully that ain't like that next week at Atlanta. But hopefully we can just get through this, maybe have some green flag racing, hopefully.
Definitely not. Well, Daniel, we'll let you get back to it, man. Keep up the good work up there, and keep getting those points. Keep putting yourself in a great position going into Atlanta. Good luck, dude.
Yep. Thanks, Sean.
This is Daniel Falkenham. Always good to talk to him. But coming to the restart, he chooses the top yet again. So definitely a trend to see our leaders take that top lane.
Absolutely. And again, I think it has to do with that arc going down into turn 1. It just, you know, helps get that car spooled up off the restart. We'll see if that holds true once again. The jump always helps, and Daniel Falkenham, without a doubt, going to get it here. Green flag back in the air, and actually jinxed it a little bit because Rocky Boyd is stuck with them down on the inside, anticipated that start, and they're side by side for the lead going down into turn number 1.
Man, that was a great prediction by Rocky Boyd there. Unless I don't see him down there in that channel with them, so definitely. Oh, he is down there. He maybe got a countdown with them, but nonetheless, good job seeing a side-by-side battle for once. But that outside lane just looking to be way too powerful with that momentum. As we see Jordan Worth now making his way into the top 3 for the first time, looking side by side with Rocky. Rocky going to throw it into 3, push him up the racetrack, and Jordan immediately comes over the radio, not appreciative of that.
And Jordan has to get out of the throttle big time. Brandon Hawken left one of the victims of that, is now he's under attack for the 5th position. They'll get spooled up again, get that run towards the end of the straightaway here. Rocky Boyd going to send it big time up against the wall, try to use that momentum to get past Falkenham. Falkenham going to slide up, and it looks like Rocky Boyd doesn't have quite enough to get there. Jordan Worth, P3, and now you see Doucette backing up to Hawken as well.
A little bit further back here, had 3 wide going into turn 3 with David Brown, Jack Mace, Parker White. Parker White, again, using the top there. 4 wide off the corner back there with Jonathan Oates way up the racetrack. Here comes Michael Frisch diving to the inside with no help. So definitely got to pick your spots on when you make these big moves here. As here comes Jordan Worth up at the front looking for the lead on Rocky Boyd. Slides up in front of him. Has to make him check up. Here comes Boyd with the crossover. 3 wide for second now. Ryan Doucette joins the battle for the lead.
3 wide for second. Down to the inside was Ryan Doucette. Falkenham here as well. Jordan Worth trying to make this high side work. Brandon Hawken on the very high side right up against the wall, trying to get a few positions out of that. Lots of slipping and sliding going on at this point in the run, about to eclipse 20 laps on this run for most of the leaders on tires, and you can see it and just how they're moving around these corners. Another big move here from Jordan Worth. He's trying to get the lead. Daniel Falkenham peeking for second. They're side by side, almost making contact for the lead here at Auto Club with 72 laps to go.
Rocky Boyd not making any friends with how he's racing these guys up at the front here. He has been very aggressive there, especially with that move we saw him put on Jordan a couple laps ago to try to slide job him. Jordan going to try to do it right back. He throws it into turn 3. Rocky does the same thing. Both are going to have to chase it up the racetrack. Jordan has to do it a little bit more. Rocky gets loose off the corner. They're still side by side. Here comes Doucette with a big run. 3 wide for the lead. Looks like Boyd's going to lead that lap. Doucette down to the apron, and he's going to clear both of them going into 1.
Big power move there out of the 77 machine of Ryan Doucette. He's going to try to clear himself, but Jordan Worth's going to have a run off of turn number 2. They're slipping and sliding everywhere. Rocky Boyd back down to the inside of Jordan Worth. He's going to try to take the second position away. 2 playoff drivers in the mix as well here in Falkenham and Parker White. They battle behind this group. They might be 3 wide again for the lead coming off turn number 4. Let's see. Rocky Boyd, big send down to the inside, but I think Ryan Doucette's going to have it.
And Jordan's going to push Doucette out clear. He's going to clear himself on Boyd as well. Where's Jordan going to go with this run he's got? Is he going to stay in line? It looks like he is. Rocky going to stay on the bottom there. Battle side by side with Daniel Falkingham. He gets a little tight in that dirty air. He's got to chase it up the track. Falkingham's going to have the momentum. Here comes Parker White to the inside of Rocky Boyd. Boyd's going to slot in line. Hawkins going to kind of be there, but Hawkins going to let him in. Definitely not ideal there. Very, very close. But here comes Jordan going one more time for the lead on Doucette as they make their way through 3 and 4.
Jordan Worth and Ryan Doucette still side by side in a heck of a battle they've put on here at the front. And gotten close a few times, but very clean battle so far. Daniel Falkingham might try to push his nose in this battle. And maybe Rocky Boyd can make some more noise as he has the past few laps. 69 laps to go at Auto Club. Jordan Worth sliding in front of Ryan Doucette. And I think he'll pretty comfortably have this lead. Ryan Doucette going to have a great run down the backstretch, though.
And we'll see what he does with it. He's going to look to the inside of Jordan. He's going to throw it into 3, give him a little side draft going in there. Jordan's going to toss it in just as hard right there, trying to keep the lead. Who's going to make it stick better? Doucette with a great run on the bottom in 3 and 4, but Daniel Falkingham's going to have a run. He's going to look to the middle. Doucette's going to go all the way to the apron, give that lap to Jordan Worth, and again, 3 wide for the top spot.
And look at Falkingham here through the middle. Going to be still 3 wide for the lead. Ryan Doucette, though, just doesn't have the momentum that you would want. Going to be side by side off turn number 2 between Worth and Falkingham. Still side by side. No one has an advantage. Looks like Worth with a little bit of a run, but I think Falkingham's going to push his nose out just in front as they go into 3.
And it looks like Jordan going to keep that momentum in the middle lane. Great racing here at the front of the field as we've seen all race. Looks like Doucette got a little bit loose on the exit of 4. Jordan's going to clear, immediately go to the bottom to break the draft. I like that move from Jordan. Get the side draft between Doucette and Falkingham. Side by side, Doucette trying to get to the inside of Jordan. Not quite going to be there. And Jordan kind of fighting for his life in that 97 for the lead. But like I said, great racing by these guys up at the front of the field.
Absolutely, and they've been very racy so far. And Ryan Doucette right now trying to take this back from Jordan Worth. Doesn't quite have it, though. Jordan Worth, for the first time in a few laps, might feel a little comfortable here.
I'm going to petition that we race Auto Club and Vegas every 2 to 4 weeks next year, because this is those 2 tracks have provided us some of the best racing we've seen in FTF in a while in this next-gen car. Not easy to get a good race out of this car, especially in certain tracks, but when you get to Auto Club like we see now, when you got to Vegas a couple weeks ago, that was another great race to watch. So definitely one of the more entertaining couple of races here. Jordan able to keep that number 97 Davey Davis Chevrolet out in front. So good job by him, able to keep Doucette behind. And it looks like stuff has calmed down a little bit at the front of the field now that the chaos has kind of stopped all throughout since the restart. Parker White a little bit further back, trying to make his way through this front of the field. He's got David Brown in front of him, trying to get to his inside, but he just can't quite make it as these tires are starting to wear out. That middle to top lane is looking like to be the preferred lane right now. Just no momentum to help these drivers off the corners on the bottom.
And as we get deeper into this run, it's going to be very interesting to keep an eye on these playoff drivers. Keep in mind, coming to what will be 15 laps to go to the end of stage number 2. And you see Frisch has started to climb up through the ranks a little bit, up to 8th now, passing Josh Chin. But guys on the outside of that, top 10 right now, looking at guys like Blake Reynolds, who, again, need every point they can get right now. Just all of them battling for that one spot, for basically that final transfer spot, which will be vacated by Michael Guest, should he not take a provisional here tonight.
And how big would it be if Michael Frisch can win this stage coming up? He's got a lot of work to do in a short amount of time. He's being shown an 8th right there, but definitely needs to get this stage win under his belt, as well as Daniel Falkingham has a great 3 and 4 on the bottom there. He's going to pull up alongside Jordan Worth, side draft him down the front stretch. Jordan going to chase him down. That's going to open the door for Doucette on the top side. Jordan's going to block it off, cause a little bit of a bottleneck at the front of the field. And looks like Daniel Falkingham going to retake the lead here from Jordan. Let's see if the crossover is going to happen. Jordan gets a good exit. Can he pull up alongside? He's just going to give Falkingham a bit of a bump there on the back straightaway. Look to the inside in 3 and 4, and we'll do it all over again.
And Falkingham, he's going to need every point he can get out of this stage as well. I mean, has the biggest buffer coming into tonight, but, you know, should he wreck or something in the later stages of this race, he is by no means locked into to Atlanta next week. You see, he dives back down to the inside, trying to get this lead back from Jordan Worth. He needs all the stage points he can get as well. 62 laps to go here at Auto Club. Parker White trying to move up through the ranks. He makes a big move down to the inside as well.
Jordan and Daniel Falkingham swapping the lead back and forth over the last couple of laps here. None of them can kind of stay in front of each other. Jordan going to do a mirror image of the previous lap going into turn number 3. Let's see if he can make it stick here. He made Falkingham kind of have to check up a lot in 3 and 4. Falkingham goes a little bit higher to avoid that dirty air. Jordan going to clear him. Jordan going to keep the lead. Falkingham going to cross over. Caution is out again in the back of the field.
And it's a big one this time. Looking around right now, everybody's fanning out. Jonathan Oates, you see down on the apron. And front end ripped off with a 43 machine. That's Trent Curtis, Scott Ricard. Ryan Naraki might have gotten another piece of it. And right at the tail end of the stage. Good news is we should have some green flag laps before then, but everybody's going to have a chance to come down pit road here. See what happened to bring this out. Might have started with that 43 of Trent Curtis.
Jonathan Oates was all over the rear of the 43 car there. Then everyone just piles on in. Look, this is... I don't know about this one. This is... Justin Melillo's going to have a field day with this one in terms of what he calls plowing into the wreck. This one looks like the 43 had to check up a little bit, had to deal with Seth Knoll there. Nothing much really Oates could do. They both get sent up the racetrack. Ashton Schleiss gets thrown into it. Nick Miller got a piece of it there. But definitely another one of those avoidable wrecks. I think a lot of them tonight have been avoidable for sure, and that one no different. Let's see what Oates sees. 43 just checks up. Nothing much Oates could do there. They get spun. And coming out, oh, Ashton Schleiss coming right into your living room, dining room, bedroom, wherever you're watching this race from. Right there, just smashes into the rear of Oates' car. But again, this is another one of those wrecks I was talking about. Racing at the front, very, very good, very, very clean. Then the mid-pack to the back just can't really keep it together.
You see Jonathan Oates on pit road, and again mentioned that everybody's going to have kind of an equalizing chance to come down here and get tires, and going to be the case. Jordan Worth wins your race off pit road. Daniel Falkingham, Ryan Doucette, Parker White, Rocky Boyd, your top 5. And what a run for Rocky Boyd so far. Not only been up inside the top 5, but has been mixing it up. You know, the past stint with Jordan Worth and Daniel Falkingham really has some speed here tonight.
Oh, man. Well, this is definitely one of those instances where we don't like to see the wrecks happening as plentiful as they are, but that's racing sometimes. But let's talk. I think we could talk to somebody here that, you know, we haven't talked to in a while with everything. Haven't seen him around in a while, but we'll get a quick word with him. Jamie. Do we have Jamie? Hello. Hello. You're in the booth.
Hello.
Hey man, how you doing?
I don't know why you brought me in here, but I'm good.
I mean, we've had a lot of wrecks, so we're talking to everybody. So you know, we want to get a word with you. How's your race going?
Oh, it's been all right. I haven't killed anyone massively, so that's a bonus.
I mean, I think this is the first race we've had you on at this racetrack since Blake's event last year in the 87s. So how's this race going? You know, we've seen everyone running the top, bottom, middle. Where's your preferred driving lane here?
Mostly towards the top when I'm not getting passed by the whole field. But yeah, the top seems to be my line at this track.
So you're sitting there back in 26. We're coming to the choose. Where are you? You're getting run over there. Where are you choosing? You want to go to the top, bottom?
I'm gonna stick with the top.
Stick with the top. I think that's the play. The top has been getting a really good restart here. So you gotta.
Top is our friend.
The top is definitely your friend. Well, we'll let you get back down there. You were down there with Blake and all them, I think, right? In first 4.
Yeah.
All right, man. We're getting down there to the restart. Keep it up. Keep up the good work, man. We'll be watching.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Thank you. Jamie Ritchie Price, always great to talk to. Good luck to you, man.
Thank you.
Always love talking to Jamie. He's another one of the good guys, in the field. Green flag coming out.
Yeah, nice to get in a word with him. We have unfinished business, though, here at the front. Again, inside 10 laps to go to the end of stage 2. Big jump for Jordan Worth. He's going to clear himself to the nose of Daniel Falkingham. Parker White in that third position. Will he try to take the stage win away from Jordan Worth or Daniel Falkingham? 58 laps to go at Auto Club.
Here comes Falkingham, going to have a big run off of turn number 2. What does he elect to do with it? He's going to push Jordan. He's going to look to the inside. Now fake him, go back in line. That's going to open the door for Doucette, possibly. Here comes Parker White, another big send into turn 3. And a lot of these guys trying to make up those oh-so-important positions. Off of turn 4, Parker White gets a little bit loose. He's got no help down there. But Jordan Worth still in control of this field coming to lap 94.
And Worth holding off some big names right now. Falkingham, Doucette, Parker White. Looking back, Michael Frisch has moved his way up into the top 10. Look at Sebastian Marin all the way up against that wall. Winner this year and, kind of faded away the second half of the season, but with a strong run here tonight, looking to potentially build some momentum and end this season on a high note.
Yeah, we mentioned he had a great run last week at Phoenix, got a podium finish there. Seabass looking to build on that. As off turn number 4, he's looking to the outside of Parker White, and he's going to look to the outside of Ryan Doucette as well. He puts himself into 4th. 6 laps to go in stage 2. Parker White makes a big move to the inside for 3rd, 2nd, everywhere, but that middle lane just has a lot of momentum right now.
A lot on the line here. Parker White, you see him down on the inside. He and Doucette have been struggling on that front stretch, just with no draft. You have to slip in wherever you can. You see everybody fanning out here. And you just have to slot in where you can find some room, and it's been sparing in the last few laps, and you see going to happen once again. Matthews, Wack, Marin get lined up, Stewart and Frisch as well. Officially now entering the buffer zone. We're within 5 laps of the end of stage number 2.
Very impressed by it right now with Jordan Worth in that 97. He's sneaky fast here at Auto Club, and he's had some speed this season. He almost won the race at Bristol a few weeks ago. He got passed in the last lap by Daniel Buttafuoco, but showed a lot of speed there, showed a lot of great pace here. So definitely good to see Jordan running out front, but Daniel Falkingham, Rocky Boyd all over the rear bumper of that 97 as we're coming down under 5 laps to go. Jordan still showing the way. We got a bit of a 3-car breakaway at the front.
Absolutely, and mentioned earlier, Rocky Boyd with a fantastic run tonight. He's right at the tail end of this 3-car mini breakaway. Sebastian Marin, Parker White, Matthews Wack trying to hook onto the draft of that tail end of the 16. It looks like they'll do so here, close that gap just a little bit in turns 1 and 2. But either way, this group running pretty comfortably right now, coming to what will be 3 laps to go in stage number 2.
I'm thinking this is the calm before the storm at the end of the stage. On board with Parker White, we saw there, got very loose off of turn number 4. He'll fall in line behind Sebastian Marin. And this will give us a good look and just see how strong the draft is, and Parker's decision-making going to stay right on the rear bumper of Sebastian Marin. Jordan, the only one running that lower middle line. Everybody electing to run maybe 3 to 4 lanes up the track, but he got a really good set of corners there, put some distance between himself and Daniel Falkingham, but they're going to catch right back up on the back straightaway. Parker throws it up to the top side, looking around Sebastian Marin. So Parker doing everything he can to give himself a shot to get the win here for stage 2.
And courtesy of that very small spoiler on the rear end of the next-gen race car, you see that draft is a lot more like a rubber band effect we saw on board with Parker White here. And, not so much what we've been accustomed to the last few years at some of the drafting tracks where, you get behind somebody and it's just kind of an instant gratification sort of thing. You got to really build that momentum towards the tail end of the straightaway, figure out what to do with it in the corner. Either way, 2 laps to go. Jordan Worth been holding these guys off somehow. And it's not for lack of trying from Daniel Falkingham or Rocky Boyd. They have been throwing these race cars around everywhere, it feels like, within the corners. And Jordan Worth has just been able to hold them off little by little.
Here comes Falkingham, though. The second you say that, gets a great run off turn number 4. Looks to the inside. Final lap here in stage number 2. Can Daniel Falkingham get himself some valuable stage points? Jordan going to pinch him down there in 1 and 2. Falkingham, though, going to make that bottom lane work. It's a little bit of a better grip through the corner. He's going to still be side by side. Where's
Nate
Rocky
Stewart
Boyd?
going to go around. And he's going to hit the inside wall. They're still going to be side by side, though, coming to the end of the stage. Nate Stewart will try to get it recollected together. Either way, Daniel Falkingham on the inside. He's going to get clear of Jordan Worth.
Wow.
Throws a little bit of a block on him. Jordan can't do anything with it. Stage 2 winner, Daniel Falkingham. He'll get some extra points to try to pad his buffer to the championship for at Atlanta.
And we mentioned earlier when we talked to him, he's looking to just keep getting those stage points, those playoff points, and a big stage 2 win for Daniel Falkingham. Mission accomplished there, as we see Nate Stewart bringing that number 4 to pit lane. But definitely a crazy race. I'm really glad that the caution didn't come out for that one. We're staying green, and dare I say it, Caleb, we're seeing a bit of a long run now. We see the tires, the lead pack is starting to thin out, as we saw Rocky Boyd just label the wall there a little bit off of turn 4. But we're starting to thin out at the front of the field now. We're really seeing just who's taking care of their tires on this run, and dare I say, finally, we see some semblance of a green flag run in this race.
And knocking on wood there for sure, but
lots of wood.
Have gotten ourselves pretty comfortable here last few laps, and are starting to see this start to play out. Jordan Worth going to dive back down to the inside of Falkingham, and Parker White all up in this battle. And if you're Daniel Falkingham, that's the last thing you want to see. And you see all over the back bumper is the 011 machine, Rocky Boyd as well in that wake. Down the front stretch, these 3 cars are just going to rocket by Jordan Worth. And all of a sudden, he's going to go from leading just a few laps to go to now fighting to stay inside the top 3.
Oh, wow. A big development here. Blake Reynolds appears to have fallen out due to packet loss, similar to what we saw with Brandon Hawken. That is more championship implications. And that, hopefully, that's very late for this to happen to Blake. So hopefully Blake is able to come back and get to a lap down. That's the policy for FTF. If you fall out of the server, you will get your laps back all the way up to being 1 lap down and have to fight your way back from there. So we'll see what happens with Blake, but definitely another tough break. Another driver we see just fall out of the server randomly.
And like you said, very late in this race for this to be happening. A little bit of contact. Looks like Jordan Worth got into the door of Rocky Boyd. They're side by side for P3, but like you were saying, it's going to be a very uphill battle for Blake Reynolds, who is the first car on the bubble coming into tonight. Another guy I've had my eye on, Kevin King. He was 2 laps down earlier. Right now, he is running in the 17th position on the lead lap. Nothing to write home about, but should be enough to advance on in the case, especially now that Blake Reynolds has fallen out. If he can't get his spot back, what does that do if you're someone like Brandon Hawken, Michael P. Frisch? Are you trying to turn up the intensity at this point, or just kind of run where you're running?
I mean, they want to get as far up as they can, so definitely want to turn up the intensity if you're them. But if you're Kevin King, you're seeing this long green flag run, and you're thinking, finally, it's Kevin, one of those guys, one of the most patient drivers in the sim by far. One of the best tire savers as well. So he's looking to pick his way up through this field, and going to be a little easier as we see the front of the field get more joined together. That second group that was just behind the front 4 is now caught back up. So we now have a front group at the front of the field. Jordan Worth, though, has no drafting help. He's going to fall all the way back to 7th as they head into turn 1.
You see how important that draft is with Jordan Worth and kind of thrown into the pit. Brendan Hawken, Michael P. Frisch there as well. And everybody's starting to run single file up on the high side again, just trying to log those laps off and get us lap by lap closer to the finish here. And as soon as I say that, big move from Ryan Doucette, threw it 3 wide. Backed out of it a little bit, didn't want to tap that outside wall. Rocky Boyd looks like he's going to try to break away with this group of Falkingham and Parker White.
Blake Reynolds coming back into the server, so he's going to give it another shot here. But it definitely has an uphill battle ahead of him. As Justin Melillo providing us some up-to-date point standings right now. Daniel Falkingham, after winning Stage 2, is now 109 points to the good, as we saw a little bit further back. Brandon Hawken with a moment down the back straightaway. He gets it going into turn number 3. Definitely a scary incident there. He's able to keep it going. But Falkingham is plus 109 now. Kevin King is still plus 58. So he's okay right now. Michael Guest plus 55 over the cut line. And under the cut line, Blake Reynolds is 55 points out. Michael Frisch is now 92 points out after winning Stage 1. And Brandon Hawken now 129 points out. So getting definitely interesting as this race winds down.
And Rocky Boyd, you were seeing, was able to get around Parker White there for the second position. Kind of opened up the door for Ryan Doucette to break into the top 3 as well. A little further back, Jordan Worth trying to make noise once again. Kevin McAdams catching on to this group as well. And really, as we've gotten further into this run, for a while it was getting strung out, but it looks like the tail end of the top 10 is getting re-caught up with this lead pack once again.
Oh, Rocky Boyd throws it into turn number 1, gets loose.
That's going to open the door for Parker White.
Both of those guys got loose. Here comes Michael Frisch now. Gets to the inside of Matthew Zwack, so that's allowed guys like Frisch, Zwack, Sebastian Marin, Kevin McAdams, Josh Chin making a good recovery there into the top 10 as Boyd hits the wall very hard off of turn number 4. That's going to bottleneck everybody up. Oh, man, Rocky Boyd is just having moment after moment here right at the front of the field.
Yeah, and then surprised if that's not sizable damage for that 16. He pancaked the side of that car. And now Ryan Doucette's going to be searching the outside. Back end going to step out just a little bit. They're going to be 3 wide. Michael P. Frisch, Sebastian Marin peeking down, but no drafting help, so it doesn't matter. Kevin McAdams, the leader of the Battle of Croissants right now. And he was given a big push to Michael P. Frisch. He'll try to take that car up to the outside and use that momentum a little more. And look how packed up all of a sudden we have gotten after running single file for the last 5 to 10 laps.
All it takes is one event to happen at the front of the field to bottleneck everybody up. And that event was Rocky Boyd just smacking the outside wall out of turn 4. Michael Frisch going to try to split Boyd and Ryan Doucette on the bottom. No help for that 58. Falkingham was able to clear for second. Now Matthew Zwack going to give Frisch a good push, and caution is out. Again, Chris Wett sideways on the backstretch. Seth Knoll involved. Cole Freilich against the outside wall.
And this coming with 40 laps to go, and Freilich blinking a little bit. Sets up for an interesting pit scenario, but we'll get into that on the flip side. Breaking down what happened to put us under caution once again.
Timu Toika on the 146 gets into Freilich a little bit. Freilich to the outside wall. Then they crashed ahead of them. Then Freilich just ran into the back of Seth Knoll for some reason there. Let's see what happened. So we saw the initial crash. Let's see what happened just ahead. So watch that one car right on the top there. Tries to avoid it. Swerves down a little bit too far. Collects Chris Wetz. And that's your wreck, essentially. So yet another caution after our longest green flag run of the race. But on lap 111, this race again draws to a slow. So pit road definitely will be busy, but it was good to see getting a taste of how these cars handle with some laps on the tires.
Absolutely, and going to be very busy down on pit lane if I had to imagine. And here they come. Parker White, Daniel Falkingham, Rocky Boyd, Michael P. Frisch, Matthew Zwack. All of your top 5 comes down. Probably be easier to list the guys who don't come down.
I don't think that'll be anybody if they're on the lead lap. Definitely going to have everybody here, especially after that run.
Got to imagine it's going to be 4 tires and fuel. Mentioned that we have limited tire sets, but 40 laps to go. It is officially go time for a lot of these guys.
Everybody looks like they get into pit road cleanly. I would be shocked if people took anything but 4 tires. Cosman and our leader, Parker White, have to share a pit stall. So you're not seeing anything crazy. But look at that advantage Cosman gets. He's going to come out second with that, but he's going to pull off for some reason. I think he might have sped or something. But Rocky Boyd elects not to fix any damage that he got. So it's going to be White, Boyd, Frisch, Zwack, and Doucette, your top 5 out of the pits.
38 laps to go in the Slipstream Signs 300K at Auto Club. Parker White, your leader. We'll get the restart on the flip side of these messages. You're watching the Barr Visuals FTF Cup Series on FTF.gg. Pace car dips down to pit lane. Ready to go racing once again in the Slipstream Science 300K at Auto Club Speedway. Parker White, Michael P. Frisch, 2 playoff drivers lead us to the green flag. And we're back racing once again at Auto Club. Another great launch for Parker White on that outside. Michael P. Frisch battling with Rocky Boyd for the 2nd position as they go down into turn number 1.
And Boyd is definitely going to be aggressive on that high lane. We've seen him do it all race. Still side by side with Frisch. Not going to give any ground. Doesn't care if he's a playoff driver or not. Frisch going to come back on that bottom lane. I'm still not quite sure if Boyd has any damage on that 16 after just smacking the wall a few laps ago out of 4. We'll see how it handles. Right now, Frisch able to get right to the rear bumper of Parker White. And he's not going to waste any time making a move for the lead. Here comes Frisch to the inside.
And we talked to Michael P. Frisch. He said, this is the one time we have a better car than Parker White, and we're going to make the most of it. And here he goes to the lead with 35 laps to go at Auto Club as they fan out continuously behind him. Look at David Cabrera. Look at David Cabrera. He's going to tag the wall. gonna save it somehow. I don't know how everybody got through turns 1 and 2. As you said, 5 wide. And now going into turn 3, we'll see if they have that in them again.
Desperately wanted to take the lead in the battle of the croissants with Kevin McAdams there with the Cheddar's cars. But nonetheless, they keep it going. Parker White going to fall in. They're still 4 wide, a little bit further back there. There you see, looked like Josh Chin was back there. 4 wide. There's still 4 wide. Falkingham there. Kevin King is there. So these guys are definitely battling hard. As up at the front, Michael Frisch again in a must-win situation. He said it himself. In order for him to punch his ticket, a win is pretty much win or go home, as he quoted it. So we'll see if he can hold off his teammate Parker White as they head into turn number 3. Still fanning out back there. Here comes Brandon Hawken in that 099 in another must-win situation. So Hawken and Frisch showing up in the clutch when it matters the most.
Yeah, and one thing to note about Michael P. Frisch and Brandon Hawken, neither of them have won a points race in 2023, and now entering Auto Club, the penultimate race of the season. You're welcome, Justin Mololo.
Jeez.
Both of them have to win here today if they want to have any shot at going to Atlanta next week. And like you said, showing up when it matters the most. Look at Michael P. Frisch holding off the dominant driver of the year in Parker White with 33 laps to go at Auto Club.
Now, something else we also have to maybe take into account here. Parker White is already locked in as we're looking on board the rear end of Michael Frisch's car. Parker's already locked in. How tempted is he to pass Frisch and win this race? Because, again, they're teammates. You know, Parker, if it comes down to it, if Frisch needs a bump on the straightaway to kind of clear somebody, Parker could either do that or go for the win and leave his teammate potentially out to dry. So that's a decision for Parker too. Does he help Frisch win this race and get Norris Force get 2 drivers into the championship 4, or does he look to win the race for himself? We'll ultimately find that out in just over 30 laps, but that's something to maybe keep in mind as the end of the race approaches.
Going to be interesting, and the fun part of this is ultimately I think it's going to come down to Parker White's discretion, as he gets to decide if he wants to press super hard on Frisch for this win, or if he wants to go for it himself, which might open the door for guys like Brandon Hawken, who's running inside the top 5 right now, to maybe peek in here and try to snipe away a win.
I don't think it'd be possible for Brandon Hawken to be any happier than he already is after a race. But if he wins this, he will be elated for sure. If you're just joining us, that 099, that gray and yellow car fell out of the server early on in this race as there's contact in the pack between Kevin King and company back there. But Hawken fell out of the server, got back in, had to make up 2 laps to get back up here, and eventually got back to the lead. And he's giving himself a chance to win in, a must-win situation for him as well. So keep an eye on that 099. He is definitely not out of it by any means, but definitely some good storylines between Michael Frisch and Brandon Hawken, 2 drivers on the outside looking in of the Championship 4, giving themselves a chance to make it here at the later stages at Auto Club.
30 laps to go, and again, all this really set up with the absence of Michael Guest here tonight, who was the 4th playoff driver coming into this round at Auto Club. And obviously Parker White with the 2 wins has set himself up nicely for Atlanta. Daniel Falkingham has a great points cushion. We mentioned at the end of stage number 2, not as they run, but at the end of stage number 2 was 107 points to the good. And then Kevin King as well in that 3rd position. Right now, he only sits 58 points to the good, again, at the end of stage number 2. And should one of these guys win, it would be either Frisch or Hawken joining those 3 in here. But that's 29 laps away, and you see with how we're battling right now, there are no guarantees. Everybody's slotting in the line right now, but again, once they hit turns 1 and 2, turns 3 and 4, they just fan out everywhere, it feels like.
There are no guarantees with that 16 car up at the front of the field. He nearly got turned by Brandon Hawken right there in the middle of 3 and 4. Rocky making that car very, very wide at the front of this field. So we're kind of getting an answer to the question I was asking a bit ago with Parker White. He is still just kind of falling in behind Michael Frisch, not pressuring him a lot, just kind of staying back in line, maybe trying to help that 58 punch his ticket to the championship 4. He could easily kind of duck out of line, go for the lead here. We've seen him throw it into corners trying to pass people, but it looks like for now he's content to just ride behind Frisch. So we'll see if Parker White tries to help Michael Frisch make it to the championship 4, as you see Jordan Worth doing everything he can in that green car in the bottom lane to make up some ground, but he has just not had the ability to make these passes, and that's going to open the door for Sebastian Marin to get under him. So slide Jordan Worth back to 7th, but Rocky Boyd a little bit further back here. You see that red, white, and blue car in 3rd. He is never content to run anywhere behind the leader.
And this top 5, again, very interesting scenario. 26 laps to go. And Sean, do you think right now as a driver, are you just trying to, maybe not give all 110% right now because you're just trying to log laps off, or are you still trying to push and get every spot you can under this green flag run?
If I am Michael Frisch and Parker White, I am just dialing it back as much as I can, trying to keep the tires on. I think that's what they're doing. You see both of them just committed to running that bottom lane to save as much tire as they can. But everybody else behind them, it looks like they've got it dialed up pretty high. As you see Matthews Wack tried to throw it into turn 3 there to make up some ground. But there's got to be a sense of urgency from a few of these guys, Brandon Hawken especially, to try to make his way up to the lead. Because again, we've gone over it ad nauseum at this point, but the 58 and the 99, the 099, have to win this race to make their way into the championship 4 at Atlanta. They're not going to do it by running second, so definitely need to see the intensity turn up for that 099 car. But it is going to be so tough to get by the Norris Force teammates of Michael Frisch and Parker White at the front. But we've seen stranger things happen at FTF races before, so Hawken is not out of it by a long shot. Definitely has a long road ahead of him, though. But we'll see if he can make it happen. Still a long way to go. 24 laps to go here at Auto Club. And I think we might be due for 1 or 2 more cautions to kind of throw a little bit of a curveball into this thing.
For sure. And you saw Rocky Boyd there, maybe starting to get on the offensive a little bit, was peeking to the outside of Parker White. And again, seeing that, somewhat of a 3-car breakaway just for a moment. Wonder if, if we get too much further into this run, if we'll see everybody start to rubber band, kind of like how we saw in that last run before we had that caution towards the tail end of the pack. Either way, we'll just have to sit back and watch it all play out. Right now, Michael P. Frisch, Parker White, Rocky Boyd, Brandon Hawken, and Daniel Falkingham, all your top 5. And again, playoff drivers more as they run. Kevin King sitting back in the 13th position right now, really the only notable one. And again, he is in a good scenario in terms of points, but definitely would like to be up inside this top 10 just to get every ounce of assurance he can.
And Kevin's a veteran, he definitely understands his situation, knows he just has to put together a respectable race. Doesn't have to win, of course, does Kevin. He just wants to just have himself a solid run. But definitely, he's one of the ones that are glad to see this thing kind of calm down at the front of the field. He has had a hectic first 3 quarters of this race, so Kevin just wants to have a solid run and go get him at Atlanta next week. But we're starting to see the tires kind of start to go away at the front of this field. Parker White still pushing Michael Frisch down the back straightaway, but Daniel Falkingham in that 054 Interstate Batteries Toyota has passed a bunch of cars. He's kept the tires in very good condition on that Toyota, not able to get quite underneath of Rocky Boyd. They're off the corner for the 3rd spot, but Daniel Falkingham definitely one of the ones to watch on these long runs as this race progresses. Jordan Worth is another one right there, and that other green car, number 97, right there. He's another one to watch on these long runs. So I want to know what the pit window is. If Justin Malillo is listening, he could probably provide us that information, because we haven't had to worry about that at all in this race. But I might start to wonder, are there a few guys that maybe can't make it on this long run, and Justin Little confirming they can make it. So we won't have to worry about green flag pit stops. Good news for the drivers up here. They can go 110%, no holding back. So that's what we like to hear.
And another thing that, we've been provided courtesy of the last couple of cautions is everybody up front kind of really throughout the field, looking back, the first car off cycle of Blake Reynolds in 30th. But everybody has, the same amount of laps on their tires. Everybody came down pit road at the exact same time. And if we get a late race caution or two, you'd got to assume everybody at that point would come down as well. So really just seeing everybody drive as hard as they can, and going to see comers and goers just based on how far they push these cars early on in the run. And, for guys like Brandon Hawken, Daniel Falkingham, that might be some bad news, because Frisch and Parker White have been living the good life up front, running 1-2.
Yeah, and this is smart, from Frisch and Parker White. They both know the implications here for Frisch. Obviously, Parker trying to help his teammate out, so we're going to see how those guys go on. They're pulling away from the field right now as the rest of the field behind them battles. But as you alluded to, for Blake Reynolds, he needs a caution in this thing. Because he is still stuck a lap down after falling out of the server, as he almost got one there with Matthews Wack getting up into Sebastian Marin. But you got to know him again as he gets into Jordan Worth, and they're around to the front stretch. That might be it. Caution is out. Again, I did it. Again. Not on purpose.
Unbelievable. And that could be the catalyst for some late race chaos. An incident between Matthew Zwack and Jordan Worth. We saw it all unfold, but we'll get some alternate angles of it. And with 18 laps to go, suddenly this race has been flipped on its head.
Such a tough break for Jordan and Zwack. Both of those guys were having such good runs at the front of the field. Take a look. Zwack there was a couple instances of contact between him and Sebastian Marin. Not sure what the deal is with that one. I don't know if he was upset maybe at the contacts, maybe try to give him a little bit more of a bump, but a questionable move, to say the least, there by Matthew Zwack. Just kind of drove up there into him. Poor Jordan, nowhere for him to go. And that might not look like bad impact for Jordan, but the wheels on these cars, the toe links on these cars break very easily, so he could definitely have a meatball. Let's see what Jordan saw. Just absolutely nowhere for him to go. So that is such a tough break for Jordan. We saw him leading a good chunk of this thing, had such a strong car, was able to run with everybody up at the front, lead laps, and definitely a tough break. He's got a lot of damage to fix, but race control comes over the radio, confirms that is on the 7 car of Matthew Zwack. He will be sent to the rear of the field.
And pit road's about to be a real busy place with 17 laps to go, and the slipstream signs 300K from Auto Club. Again, we were saying under that green flag run, you'd have to assume that everybody comes down here, and we'll see if that holds true. So far, it looks like everybody that's going to be on the lead lap going to heed that advice. Oshalem looks like stayed out. Blake Reynolds as well, mentioned him right before the caution came out, where he needs to pit to make it to the end, but also getting his lap back at this point from falling out earlier on.
Money stop for these guys. Michael Frisch into his box perfectly. I would assume 4 tires, full of fuel. Last time these guys are going to be on pit road. Brandon Hawken is sideways in his box a little further up, but he is in. Got a little bit sideways there. Parker White is in his box. Frisch is going to be out. It looks like Ryan Doucette is going to win the race off of pit road. Looks like a 10-second stop for Ryan Doucette. That sounds like 2 tires to me for that 77 car. So a bold strategy here. We're going to be going green with about 14 laps to go, and Ryan Doucette feels 2 tires is going to be enough to hold these guys off.
Yeah, interesting for sure, because Ryan Doucette has had speed. Obviously, didn't have the complete confidence that he'd be able to go up and compete with everybody. And once those 2 tires just for that track position advantage, thought it would be a little too much to overcome here. Jonathan Oshalem stayed out. He is your leader right now. And as they run, Oshalem obviously in the lead, Falkingham in second, Ryan Doucette third, Michael P. Frisch fourth. Parker White rounds out your top 5, but A little further outside of that, Brandon Hawken in 8th. You see Oshlin looking to come down the pit lane now, which will recycle all this out. But nonetheless, you have quite a few playoff drivers in this top 10, 2 of which need to win. Blake Reynolds is going to have a lot of ground to make up in just 16 laps. And then Kevin King, he's been running inside the top 15, but had a quiet night so far. Just minding his business, and maybe that's exactly the formula he's looking for to punch his ticket to Atlanta.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, I think Kevin is just kind of chilling out in this race, just making sure he stays out of trouble and gets a solid top half of the field finish in this race. So Kevin trying to make himself prime and ready to compete for a back-to-back FTF, Barr Visuals FTF Cup Series championship. Haven't seen a back-to-back champion in a long time, or maybe ever in the series history. Maybe Justin can correct me if I'm wrong there. I don't know when the last back-to-back champion was, if there ever was one. But we'll see. But a big choose here as Daniel Falkingham and Ryan Doucette elect to take the top lane, and that will let Michael Frisch and Parker White run the bottom lane as we have extended the caution. So we're hearing maybe a bad choose. Not sure what the deal is with this.
This is interesting.
With this call here, but I think we may be single file. I think we may be redoing the choose, and that is there's our cone there, but I don't know. I think that's going to hurt Michael Frisch and Parker White because they had the inside line. I think that's exactly how they wanted to line up, and now they're going to give them another chance to update their choice.
Yeah, and interesting there. Did real quick before we get to that choose cone, want to touch. Went back to go stat check you. Never has there been a back-to-back Barr Visuals FTF Cup Series champion. 2015, Kevin McAdams. 2016, David Schildhouse. Taylor Morgans in 2017. 2018 was Kevin McAdams again. Brian Mercurio, 2019. 2020 was David Day. 2021, Tyler Gary. 2022, obviously, Kevin King. That's your Spark Notes. And Frisch and Parker White do end up getting that inside lane. You see everybody else going to have their selections. Kevin King on the outside there. We'll see where Blake Reynolds chooses to line up at.
That is pretty crazy that this league is slowly approaching 10 years in action, both on NASCAR Racing 2003 and on iRacing. Never been a back-to-back Barr Visuals FTF Cup Series champion. Kevin King has a chance to do that next week at Atlanta, so potential history being made in this league. But nonetheless, as I was talking about, those 2 cars on the inside, Parker White and Michael Frisch, watch out for them to try to get a big restart to get by Daniel Falkingham.
Gonna be interesting here. Falkingham gonna shoot. It's gonna be 14 laps to go from Auto Club in the Slipstream Science 300K. 4 wide, a little further back. Looks like Josh Chin made a big move down to the inside. Seth Knoll, Jordan Worth, Kevin King up on the high side there.
The front. Michael Frisch is your leader. What a great drive through 1 and 2. He's going to pick up his teammate Parker White. Ryan Doucette got into Rocky Boyd a little bit, but Michael Frisch in the clutch gets back to the front. Does Brandon Hawken have anything further back? He's going to make it 4 wide between him and Rocky Boyd. Is he going to clear? Barely. Boyd gets into David Brown into the infield. No caution yet. Now the caution is out. Rocky Boyd and David Brown come together off of turn number 4. And as you said, this is going to get chaotic, and that might have been the start of it. But man, oh man, what a run on that restart for Brandon Hawken. Let's take another look. So watch that yellow and gray car there. He's going to make a fantastic move here to get into the corner, get alongside Rocky Boyd, kind of split split him and Daniel Falkingham. Boyd gets a little loose. Boyd gets a little bit into Brandon Hawken, I think, and he gets loose off of turn 4, swerves into David Brown, and nowhere for David Brown to go. Fortunately, didn't hit anything hard, but still a lot of right front damage. On board with David, and we'll see. Hard hit there. Goes for a spin through the infield, does a great job of keeping it off the inside wall, corralling it, and keeping that car moving, but definitely not ideal for David. That'll essentially end his hopes for a good finish.
And that's a really tough break to get caught up in that here at the very tail end. And this is going to be interesting here because you see a few more cars down on the pit lane. We're going to get a restart inside 10 laps to go here at Auto Club. And again, everything has just kind of shifted upside down. Michael P. Frisch and Parker White made a great call to get to the inside there. Falkingham faded back. And now Frisch and Parker White going to have discretion on what to do on this restart with Frisch being the control car.
So I'm thinking they are obviously both going to choose the top lane, because I think it's evidently clear that Parker is trying to help Frisch lock this win up. So we will see. They're not choosing this time. We'll choose next time. But Michael Frisch, man, I was saying earlier, we have this long-running storyline beef that we just give each other a hard time all the time. But he has been there, week in and week out. He's had a few tough breaks in the postseason playoffs, so to speak, in FTF. But to see where he is now in the points, and for him to have a chance to win his way into the Final Four at the buzzer, essentially, would definitely be a heck of a storyline at the end of this race, especially surviving all the carnage that this race has provided to us. Again, if you're just joining us, it's been a heck of a race. As Kevin King has alluded to in our chat, his wheel is bent all to hell, yet he's in the top 10 somehow. We saw him get some damage earlier on, trying to split a gap in a wreck that wasn't quite there. But definitely been a fun race to watch. For those of you just joining us, Kevin, Pike included, welcome on in. You guys are definitely in for a hell of a finish, if I have to predict.
And shout out to Pike for joining us. He's down in New Smyrna right now and tweeted out a pretty funny picture of him having the stream up inside the booth at New Smyrna. Appreciate you for checking in with us, Pike, and hope you have safe travels back to the hotel tonight.
I will see you tomorrow, Pike.
Oh, you going to New Smyrna too?
We will be there.
Potential meetup.
Yeah, Pike and I have met before. We've shot the breeze numerous times.
Yeah, you were both there at Hickory last year, right?
Yeah, we were.
There too. It was a fun time. We had 3/4 of an FTF booth there.
We did. Definitely did. Caleb didn't even bother to try to meet up with us. Unbelievable.
No, I have better things to do, including at North Wilkesboro. I didn't want to touch your hand, but
exactly.
Either way,
I went up for a high five, and Caleb just like, I don't know you. I'm like, okay, it's nice.
Yeah. Again, you're on the run. You have better things to do, but sometimes you're just stuck with them, and it's what we have going on here. But we've overcome worse.
Yes. By the way, they asked, does Andy Margot still race? Big fan. He has not raced in a while, but we love Andy. Defending most popular driver, by the way. He could still win this year. Write him in the polls. But we're going back racing. Green flag is back out. And as expected, Michael Frisch, Parker White take off. And Michael Frisch, again, has to win to get in. But so does Brandon Hawken in that yellow and silver number 99. Can either of them punch their ticket? Kevin McAdams under Hawken gets loose, tight, everything, makes contact. Everyone able to stay green, keep going, and they're wrecking in the back.
Chris Wetz around. David Cabrera hard to the outside wall. Chris Wetz has lost the front end. He's sliding across the racetrack. Brian Sabelski, Oshalem involved. Scotty Smith with damage. My goodness, and 9 laps to go. The pin has been pulled out of the grenade, and the back half of the field has imploded, and we're under caution once again.
As if they haven't imploded enough throughout this race, they keep on going. But man, you mentioned this, Caleb. It's going to get chaotic in the last 9 laps of this race, and it's probably going to be a race of attrition. We'll get a replay here and see exactly what the heck happened. Zach has been working overtime getting these replays to us. So let's see. Watch Chris Wetz there in that purple and green car on the bottom. Looks like Josh Chin above him gets loose or tight, maybe grazes the wall a little bit. He goes down into David Cabrera, who then goes down into Chris Wetz, and then Wetz gets shot to the bottom of the racetrack, collects Brian Sabelski and company, and that's pretty much all the ingredients necessary for this wreck. This is Jamie Ritchie Price we're on board with. Does he avoid this? There's the smoke happening. Where do you go? Avoids the flying body part.
No, Chris comes
Wetz
back down the track and just tags him.
Oh man, again, nowhere for him to go. They're gonna say it's a racing deal on in the official announcement for the wreck, but definitely not an ideal situation there for those guys.
And lots more plows to be investigated here, and say it's safely the biggest wreck we've had so far.
I don't think we're done, Caleb. It's you see Jamie on pit road. We talked to him earlier. He was happy to make this race, of course. Here you see Wetz. Definitely a tough break, but this thing is far from over. Still got this plus potential green-white checkers. Definitely working overtime for our race control people. Speaking of race control, Justin, how we feeling?
Yeah.
Yep. On a scale of 1 to 10, are we enjoying this?
I don't know if I can.
You can't. How many cautions are we up to?
This is 13.
13. Is this the over that you had set for the race? Or are we still at the under, or where are we at?
Well, anytime you hit double digits, it's not good.
That's true at a track like this. But the racing's been good at least, you know. It's been fun to watch, right?
Yeah, I blame Kevin.
Kevin
he made
McAdams.
Too good of a set. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's good. Just people the middle and the back have had a rough time, but the front has been fun to watch. I mean, it's definitely been an entertaining race. You're going to go back and watch and be like, damn, this was actually a good race to watch until they wrecked. So
it's definitely been a race of all time.
It has.
But, I'm looking forward to seeing how this all plays out. Hopefully everybody plays nice here with the whole point situation. I'm looking, I think it works out where Guest is going to be out no matter how it works out, unless all these guys end up killing each other. I don't know if it's going to be Blake. I don't know if it's going to be Frisch. I don't know if it's going to be Kevin. I don't know if it's going to be Falkingham. Like, it's all crazy at this point. So they're doing the choose here. So I got to get back.
We'll let you get back to work. Thanks for talking to us, Justin. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Sean.
Justin Melillo, the owner and CEO of FTF. The Vince McMahon of FTF, I guess. But yeah, we got ourselves a restart coming up, Caleb. This is a big one.
And always fun to peek in the mind of Justin, and he's juggling 15 things. So appreciate him taking the time to come up here and chat with us for a second. Yeah, like you said, this is going to be one of the most important restarts of the day, because either we're going green to the end or we're setting up what's going to be another one of the final restarts. Going to be fun to see here if Doucette can guess on the inside. The only person we've seen do that is Rocky Boyd. Either way, Frisch and Parker White lined up on the outside. Green flag back in the air from Auto Club. 6 laps to go. And once again, Frisch and Parker White clear to turn 1. They fan out behind him. Looks like Doucette going to hold on to third. Brandon Hawken desperately needs to find a way to get up inside this top 3 and maybe start trying to think of ways to get Parker White and Michael P. Frisch torn apart.
He almost got to the outside of Ryan Doucette there off of 2. Big accordion down the back straightaway. Here comes Hawken to the inside. He's going to make the big move into 3. Here he goes. Parker White is going to be compromised by Doucette. And Brandon Hawkin is going to make his way into 2nd. Both guys that have to win are 1 and 2, under 5 to go. Are you kidding me?
One car slaps the wall behind him, but we stay green. Parker White uses that draft, gets back down to the inside of Brandon Hawkin. 4 laps to go from Auto Club. Michael P. Frisch has to worry about that yellow and gray car in his mirror, but Parker White trying to fend him off for him.
Brandon Hawkin, a crossover back to the inside of Parker White. Parker can't play defense for much longer. Hawkins going to throw it in here into 3 again. So is Parker White. He evens it. He gets the dirty air from Frisch, though. Frisch will wash up and give the dirty air to Hawkin, or I'm sorry, to Parker White. Brandon Hawkin with no help on the bottom. Does Kevin McAdams give him some help? He's closing in on this battle.
Laps ticking down at Auto Club. On board now with Brandon Hawkin. Does he have another charge into turn number 1? He's going to get down to the inside of Michael P. Frisch. He's not able to slide up in there. And now Parker White, with that momentum, might be clear of him.
Oh, this is going to be so tough for Brandon Hawkin to do. 2 of the best drivers in this field ahead of him. 2-on-1, essentially. He needs someone to give him a good bump here to maybe give him the edge on Parker White. He's going to try to run this high to middle lane off the corner to get himself a run. But Parker White and Michael Frisch might be too tough to handle. 2 laps to go at Auto Club. Who is going to punch their ticket to the Final 4?
Brandon Hawkin, he's got to try to think about how, again, he's trying to split up Parker White and Michael P. Frisch right now. I just don't know if he's going to be able to do it, or if he used his stuff up there making that run. Parker White glued to the back end of this 58 machine as they go down the backstretch here at Auto Club, down into turn 3 and 4. Frisch, again, with a great lead. Does Brandon Hawkin have anything for these 2 North Force drivers?
And Parker White feeds Hawkin the dirty air into turn number 3. White flag is out at Auto Club. 1 lap to go. Can Michael Frisch hang on? Does Brandon Hawkin have a last attempt? Here he goes into turn 1 to the bottom. Gets to the inside of Parker White. Can he make it stick? Not quite, as White is going to have the momentum. He's going to have 1 more shot to get to Atlanta in 3 and 4.
Down the backstretch for the final time, Michael P. Frisch with Parker White as a blocker. Does Parker White try anything? Down into turn 3 and 4. Hawkin all the way up against the wall. Michael P. Frisch has not won all year long. With the season on the line, Michael P. Frisch wins at Auto Club, and he's fighting for a championship at Atlanta.
Wow. Storylines.
What a win.
Storylines playing out here at Auto Club. Auto Club never disappoints. Great show of teamwork by North Force to get Frisch in. Michael Frisch coming up clutch, performing when he needs it to. Brandon Hawkin comes up just a little bit short to get himself in as Cosman just destroys everybody on the backstretch. But what a race at the front of this field. Absolutely incredible to watch. Very good job by both Frisch and Brandon Hawkin to bring that drama all the way to the final lap.
And Frisch had to hold off not only Parker White, but Brandon Hawkin, who was just shot out of a cannon on that last restart. And rightfully so, Michael P. Frisch will burn it down here.
Why is Jordan doing a burn?
Jordan feels like it.
All right, Jordan, you celebrate too.
But what a win here for Michael P. Frisch. And again, will battle for a championship at Atlanta next week. And again, in what fashion to do it. Thought Brendan Hawkin would have something for him. But he and Parker White just a little too strong for everybody.
Michael Frisch will do a well-deserved burnout here as we'll get a look at our final results from Auto Club. A drama-filled, action-packed race at Auto Club. We hope you guys enjoyed. I know I sure as hell did. But Michael Frisch, when he needed it most, comes up big and wins to punch his ticket to Atlanta with help from his buddy Parker White, finishing in second. Brandon Hawken, again, our other driver in a must-win situation. Such a good race, had to overcome so much adversity as Michael Frisch has just blown his car up on the front stretch. Fell out of the server, went a couple laps down, fought back and took the lead, came up just 2 spots short of running for a championship. He will finish in 3rd. Kevin McAdams, a solid run in 4th. Jordan Worth, a great run, top 5. Kevin King, his wheel was sideways, according to him. It was not centered at all. He will somehow finish in 6th. Jack Mace, a great run for him, in 7th. Sebastian Mayer in 8th. Blake Reynolds, another driver that had to win. Another driver that fell out of the server late in the race. Comes up just a bit short in his comeback bid. He will finish 9th. Cosmin Yanishu, though, a sneaky top 10. A good run for him.
Going to try to breeze through the rest of these. Ryan Doucette ran top 5. He comes home 11th. Seth Newell 12th tonight. Joshua Chin 13th. Daniel Falkingham 14th place run should be enough for him to also battle alongside the other 3 in a championship bid at Atlanta next week. Sander Nyhoff 15th. Ryan Naraki 16th. A great rebound for him after being involved in a few accidents. Matthew Zwacken 17th. David L. Brown 18th. Art Reimer in the 19th position. Good run for him. Jonathan Oates rounds out your top 20.
David Cabrera loses the battle of the croissants between him and Kevin McAdams. He'll finish 21st. Teemu Toika 22nd. Scott Rickard, Scotty Smith, Gavin Newton, Chris Wetz, Brian Sabelski, Jonathan Oshelin, Jamie Ritchie Price is still on the track doing burnouts for some reason, and Isaac Johnson will finish in 30th.
Looking on back to 31st, you'll find Rocky Boyd, whose result doesn't reflect how well he ran today. 11 laps down. Ryan Pandicio, 15 laps down in 32nd. Cole Freilich, 33rd. Trent Curtis in the 34th position. Ashton Schleiss, 50 laps down in 35th. Nate Stewart, 36th. Dylan Basin in 37th. Malik Ray, after running up inside the top 5 as well, 78 laps down in 38th. Tyler Williams, 39th. Nick Miller rounds out your top 40. Looking on back, Zach Hudson could not overcome his penalty early on, 41st. Hunter Bailey, 42nd. Phil McCandless rounds out your field in 43rd. After all that, we're going to have a moment to take a moment to talk to our winner in Michael P. Frisch. And Frisch, you're locked into Atlanta. It's a done deal. How do you feel?
Oh my God, it feels like the weight has been lifted off my shoulders, man. I don't even know what to say. I can't thank Parker enough right there for sticking behind me. Big shout out to him. I mean, dude's just awesome. But no, I mean, it feels great to go into the Final Four, honestly, with this stout of field. There's a lot of bragging rights on the line for sure. You look at all 4 of these guys, and they're all very good.
Yeah, and it was just officially announced, obviously with the win that you're going to fight for a championship. How does it feel now after Parker White's helping you he's now one of your 3 adversaries next week at Old Atlanta?
I mean, it's really Parker, ever since I joined NFR, has been a tremendous help to me. No matter what car it is, if it's a truck, B car, next gen, no matter what, he just really teaches me a lot. So, during the last stint of that race, I kind of just paced myself and just kind of stayed cool and told me to hit my lines, don't worry about being behind you, and kind of did that, and we kind of pulled a little gap. So, I mean, I can't thank the dude enough. He is the next alien in the Coke series. Mark my words. I mean, dude's just bad fast.
And officially announced, the championship 4 are going to be Parker White, you, Daniel Falkingham, and Kevin King. It was a hard-fought battle today. Do you think, without Parker White's help there, that you hold off Brandon Hawken, his little surge there at the end?
I think no matter tonight, no matter what was on the line, I knew I had to win. And I mean, I was driving pretty aggressive all night. I threw some big moves out there, and teammates or not, I mean, he helped me out. But at the end of the night, I told him the race is race, but I mean, he wanted to help me. But no, I mean, it's always better to help a teammate out to get into the Final Four. Bigger chance for us to bring home a team championship for the guys. I mean, you got 3 of us versus Kevin King. So, I mean, it's going to be a brawl going into Atlanta. I can't wait. I mean, we're all fast guys, so it can be any one of us, really.
Well, Frisch, congratulations. Finally getting this bug off your back, getting to victory lane in 2023, and fighting for a championship next week at Atlanta.
Thank you guys so much.
That is your winner, Michael P. Frisch. And we'll go down to Sean, who's with Parker White, your second place finisher.
So Parker, I kind of called this initially that I had a feeling you and Frisch were going to kind of work together to get him in, and he pretty much confirmed that, and you were doing your best to kind of help him out there. So when did you guys agree that you were going to just settle it amongst yourselves and try to get him in? So it's pretty much two North Forest drivers going at it for the Final Four.
There wasn't necessarily an agreement. It was just we both got to the front, and it was Frisch, Rocky, and I. We were all working together up at the front, and we stayed up there on that long green flag run, and we just kind of stayed in line. Rocky was in third for most of the time, and he would kind of just defend the outside. And there was a few times he got to the outside. I got shuffled back to third, but just trying to keep the track position. And obviously, I knew the spot that Frisch was in that I wasn't completely sure if he needed to win. Like, I think there was a possibility that he could have not won and still made it. But coming down to those last laps, my main focus was on Brandon Hawken because I knew that if he won the race, then he would be in. And I wasn't 100% sure, like I said, of how the playoffs were looking. So I just wanted to make sure that Frisch was going to get in. And really, there wasn't anything I could have done there because if I tried to pass Frisch, then Hawken was going to have a really big run, and then he could have just gotten past both of us. And that would have been good because Frisch and I are obviously teammates. But yeah, the best thing for me is just to stay in the line and help Frisch and just get him to the Final Four next week.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like you guys executed that to perfection there towards the end of the race. So, I mean, talk about the race, man. It looked like it was a really fun, setup to drive. It's every lane worked essentially. Maybe the middle was kind of OP there at some points, but just how crazy was the racing up towards the front throughout that thing?
Yeah, it's really just the track that makes this extremely good. Like, this is probably, without a doubt, the best track there is on iRacing, the best oval. Like, probably the most fun I've ever had at this track was in the Contender Series last year because that was really the only race I've ever had on iRacing where we started on the bottom and we had to actually move around the track to find grip and speed. And this track is just such a good track for racing. And although the next gens have such a big draft, it's not necessarily too draft dependent because if you're fast, you can kind of make up time on the bottom and you don't lose like a ton on the straights if you do it right. But obviously you might lose one or two spots. But if there's a really big draft train up on the top and you're the only one on the bottom, they're going to check up a lot entering the corners and you can just kind of send it in, hope you get a hole on the top. And if not, just keep rolling the bottom and usually works out. Like, this is a really fun track to drive in the Xfinity car because it doesn't have the side draft. It's just kind of carrying your own momentum. You won't get side drafted at all. But yeah, really, this is just a really fun track to drive on. This car drove really nice to set up and everyone raced really nice.
Yeah, I've said at the top of the show, Auto Club rarely misses, no matter what you drive in it. But one more race to go, Parker. Statistically, you have had the greatest season in the history of FTF dating back to 2015. So what's your game plan going into Atlanta to bring home a championship?
Like I usually say, just race it like any other race. I just mainly just want to have fun. If I win the championship, that's great. If not, it was a good season. But yeah, Atlanta's I haven't really driven Atlanta with the next gen. Like, I've driven it a lot with the Xfinity car and the truck. Usually the high side in 1 and 2 is pretty overpowered. So it'll really just be about track position because passing will probably be a bit hard. So just staying on the right strategy as always and keeping track position, just managing the tires is going to be big. I'm sure it's going to be a really hot track temp as well. So it should be a fun one. Tires will come into play, then just driver skill. Just hopefully it's a really good race.
For sure, man. We're looking forward to see what you do in that one. But congratulations getting Frisch to victory lane, being a good teammate. As he said, he was singing your praises in his interview. And good luck next week, man. We'll be watching.
All right, thank you.
Parker White, Caleb, and we got P3 coming in here with Brandon Hawken, and Caleb has caught up with Brandon.
And Brandon, one final surge from you there at the end. Do you think, a few more laps could have made the difference, or, just starting off a little hotter out the gate?
Man, I'm not sure. It was gonna take a lot for sure. I know. Yeah. Parker and Frisch, they were working together. And yeah, I would have had to get by both of them, and I think that would have been a really tough thing to do. But yeah, I was really good on short run, and yeah, the last two restarts there were exactly what I needed if I was gonna have a chance, and yeah, I just couldn't quite get it. I was just trying everything, like I was diving it, trying to use the outside to get the run off the corner, everything, and yeah, just it's just so hard to pass if you don't have the inside or if you don't have the outside available to you, and yeah, so I just did all I could on the bottom, top, wherever, and that was just a really hard fought race. I did all I could, but yeah, if I guess if I got maybe a slightly better launch off the top, I know I got a good restart, but yeah, it wasn't quite enough to stay get alongside Doucette, and maybe if I was able to get along beside him there going into turn one, I might have been able to get up in front of or beside Parker coming off of turn two. But yeah, it was that was a really tough race, and man, yeah, guys put on a great show, really good win there to Frisch, and man, yeah, he's really deserving of a Final Four spot. So yeah, really great stuff from him and the rest of the Final Four, and yeah, we came really close, but not quite.
Yeah, and looking back at past seasons for you, 2023 is the first season since 2018 where thus far you've been winless in one round to go at Atlanta. Do you think you can go up there or go down there rather and try to spoil the Final Four's party?
I'll try to in the most respectful way possible. Yeah, like I know that top or Final Four is going to be on top of their game going into Atlanta. I really love Atlanta, so I'd be happy to get a really good run there. And yeah, as long as it doesn't mess anything up, I'd love to go race for a win. And yeah, that's what I'll be going for next week. Man, yeah, I just really would have loved to have been racing in the Final Four again, but I like as far as points when I had like no chance, and I was just happy to be here tonight with a chance to get a spot in the Final Four. So you know what? So next week I'll go out see what I can do, but man, yeah, I'll try and stay out of the battle for the championship, but I'm gonna go out and do the best I can, and yeah, if we can bring home a win there at Atlanta, that would be awesome. But man, what a season it's been! Extremely difficult season. That was like like the top of the field this season is probably the like the strongest it's ever been, and man, yeah, that was just what a season from everybody. And yeah, so next week we'll go for it. We'll see what we can do, but it's going to be a real tall order.
Championship hopes extinguished for Brandon Hawken, but still all smiles for the driver of the 099. Congratulations on a hard-fought third place finish tonight. We'll see you next week at Atlanta.
Thanks so much, guys. Have a good one.
That is Brandon Hawken, the only guy I know who could be recently, done in the championship standings and still just all smiles. Always such a positive attitude and great to talk to him. But Sean, 35 races down and one more to go. Final thoughts for you from Auto Club tonight.
First, if you don't like Brandon Hawken, there's something wrong with you. But he is definitely a joy to speak to. One of my favorite interviews for sure. But I am very excited to see how this final race goes. It's at Old Atlanta, not the new one. So the Old Atlanta character track handling will be an issue. I know Kevin McAdams is going to make sure that all the lanes work when he fixes up the setup for that race. It's going to be an awesome, awesome race. Definitely how it used to be in the early 2000s with the season ending at Atlanta. Throwback to that, but it's going to be a great race to watch. Highline's going to work. All our championship four are going to be right in it, and definitely going to want to tune in for that because Old Atlanta definitely doesn't miss either, no matter what runs on it. So definitely going to be an awesome, awesome race for sure.
Absolutely, and a great race that we got here from Auto Club tonight. And again, only one race to go in the 2023 Barr Visuals FTF Cup Series season, which is crazy to think about. It feels like yesterday we were at Daytona for the Barr Visuals FTF 500. But alas, down to 4 drivers now. Parker White, Michael P. Frisch, Daniel Falkingham, Kevin King, all battling for a championship. And that will be next weekend at Old Atlanta. This Wednesday, the Core League is back, debuts the Gen 4 cars at Daytona. Don't want to miss that. Not sure what the exact time frame is on that, but I believe around 9 p.m. want to say. So make sure to tune in for the Core's return, and then obviously Bar Visual's FTF Cup Series finale at Old Atlanta. And again, that's 1 week from tonight. For Sean Butler, for Zach Johnson up in the booth, thank you all so much for spending your Saturday night with us. I'm Caleb Hoffman. We'll see you next week from Atlanta on FTF.gg.
Bye.